spaceships.
With MakingStarWars.net.
Bow, 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 bow. Close up on my face, girl. Got a oh, hey.
No, we're not doing that.
Oh, sorry. Let's sing to everybody and like get a real romantic.
I look old enough. I don't need that.
real romantic. Yeah. So, how's everybody doing? How's everybody in the chat? Everybody having a good time? Everybody having a good time with all the Star Wars news? I was just on Star Wars Santa show for a good 2 hours, and now I'm doing it again. But I haven't. So that's interesting. But let's like sift the article. I'm already getting people sending me things. Kathleen Kennedy admits failure. It's like, God, you guys are something.
She committed seppuku on the throne. You know?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't really give a shit one way or the other about Kathleen Kennedy's like day or whatever. It's not really in my purview, but it's weird, man. It's weird. Yeah. Yesterday, Nerd Theory blamed me because they couldn't dissect the spoilers right. That was funny. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Because they were like, oh, just wish Jason hadn't released this. And it's like, Nerd Theory, you're the one who made it into a fucking thing. You're the one who with the whole Reva, the main character shit and everything.
If you hadn't shown me that picture of that person of color, I wouldn't have said racist shit,
Yeah. It's like somebody's like, hey, somebody said something, let's tar and feather. And they're like, hey man, I wish you hadn't told me what they did. And so I wouldn't have tarred and feathered them. It's like
he wasn't going to have that opinion when he saw it in the actual episode. That wasn't coming. So it's a month early instead of a month later.
Wild.
Whatever. I rarely mention values in the army because I think they're largely hypocritical given, how the world's gone down the last 20 years. But there is something called integrity, right? They have this army code, right? It's like leadership. It's an acronym, and the I stands for integrity. At least own the shit you believe.
Wait, is integrity? Is that when you walk up and you squeeze a titty until the milk shoots out as hard as you can until you take on every fucking drop of it, and then you step away and go, "Why'd you make me
episode
do
8.
that? Why'd you make me squeeze that titty like that? Oh, what? Jason, why'd you make me do it?"
I won't lie. Ever since
The
Last Jedi came out, anytime someone has one of those big bottles with energy drinks and they swish it, I just think of that scene.
I will say, ironically, my Xbox died last night. My Xbox One X, not the newest one, but the last Xbox One, the final good version of the Xbox One, it died. And but I only have about 50 of those bricks to get in Lego Star Wars. Got all the characters. I'm like this close to being done.
You got the biggest brick of all. You got the Xbox.
The biggest brick of all. You son of a bitch! God, that was good though. That was good. Makes it hurt a little bit less.
That's what I do.
Yeah. But thank you, Luz, for the support, man. I really appreciate that. Or I think you're a man. I'm gonna assume you're a man. I don't know. Luzerne.
It's a figure of speech.
Yeah, thanks, man.
M-A-N-G.
Thanks, man. But I appreciate it. The Vanity Fair cover does look dope. It was a nice surprise. We knew it was gonna come because Bresnikan was dropping his Bill Murray thing he always does. And yeah, so this is it right here. This is the old article. Really quickly. I read in the article that Taiga's movie is coming first and Rogue Squadron second. Yep. which I think on one hand is
shocking. Never saw that coming.
Yeah.
Folks, look, I know you all have your wants and wishes when it comes to Star Wars. And what does Rob know? I need to tell you something. And I'm going to say this once again. I'm going to repeat it to the end of time. When a movie studio takes a slot and puts their other science fiction film in where a Star Wars movie used to be, that Star Wars movie ain't coming out. I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know.
Or they are really trying to hurt one another for some dumb reason. That's the only other explanation for something like that.
Yeah,
But
there's too much money on the line for that. It's just too much.
Yeah.
You know,
but
because then Disney will do it to them. They don't want that. No one wants that. You know,
right?
They don't want that war. So.
But yeah, look how cool that is. You know, and this first time we're getting a good look at Reva's full lightsaber with both sides or whatever together. I don't know how it works.
So I've been saying this since 1999.
Mon Mothma smoking hot. That's weird.
And Leibowitz, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like her color palette, her vision, her aesthetic for Star Wars was like, when I saw that, I'm like, that's like if they shot Empire Strikes Back for the Phantom Menace. Like, it has that quality of light that Kushner had, right? Like,
yeah,
Kushner, like, just because he was a lighting guy, right? Too, like, he did a lot of stage lighting, like dramatic stage lighting. Yeah, he did a lot of that. And Lucas was even talking on some of the interviews during the digital side, like Attack of the Clones, Revenge, stuff, that they wanted to make the films look more painterly rather than realistic. And you really see that with Revenge of the Sith. I think they achieved a lot of that, especially like the Coruscant lighting is fantastic. And she nails it painterly. You know, like there's a painterly quality to this that is fantastic. I think was it Brandon Fraser?
The Mummy?
Dave Fraser. No, that's that other guy. The fucking cinematographer for Rogue One and the Batman.
Yeah.
His Fraser, his work to me is the closest I've seen to like Leibowitz's stuff if it were live action like that. It's fantastic. How can you not look at that and go, I wouldn't want a fucking wallpaper of that shit? You know?
I don't know, Chris. Why don't you want a wallpaper of that? What's your problem, dude?
How are you guys? Good to see you. It's been a while.
How you feeling, dude?
Yeah, I got the flu, but so much Star Wars. I need to come on and give my opinion that no one wants.
I want to hear it. I want to hear your opinion. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm being a bit of a uninspired dork here. The only thing that I really would have wanted from this that we didn't get is it would have been kind of cool if they had remade that photo with Obi-Wan and Maul. If they had done a new version of that with Vader or Reva, whichever.
Reva would be good, right?
You know what I mean?
But
that's just me. That's just me being on. That would have been kind of cool. But
she looks good though. She looks really good.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
I just wish to see. So I haven't seen anything from the trailers that gives it this kind of lighting. You know.
Sorry, yeah.
I will be adjusting my TV set.
Yeah.
A lot to get there. I wish you could just turn on the Leibowitz filters. You know, get nice little like shaders for your TV. That shit's dope. All that's dope, man. Shit's fucking sick. Everyone's got a mustache now.
This is just a bunch of composites though, right? Of the actors on the background. Right. I mean, it's a nice background.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I think this background could be from Kenobi. It could be from the show. It's possible.
I hope they put more purples in the desert. That was something like Boba Fett was missing. Like if you've been to if you've driven through Arizona or Utah, there's lots of purples in the sky. Tunisia has a bit of that in the New Hope, you know, and that series is largely like just stark white. Like it feels like you're in a parking lot in Long Beach. Like,
that Aria just sent us this. Thank you, Aria, for the help. This is another photo. And right there we can see.
Compose a shot, man. Star Wars needs iconography.
The first poster we got for Kenobi, it was pretty purple, wasn't it, Rob? Or am I mistaken? The first teaser poster we got, I think it was a lot.
I'm talking about footage.
Okay.
Posters don't mean anything to me.
Okay.
Yeah. But
that's cool.
They should just be like. They should just hire her to shoot anything before they shoot, and then be like, okay, then we're just going to do a whole series that looks like this. Like, seriously. I mean, they have an art department that does a fantastic job. You know, like that. All those, again, the art of Boba Fett, those little images that play at the end of the series look great. They should be following that artistic, painterly lighting. Seriously.
I think Obi-Wan needs to make some room for Cassian. Come on. Look at Cassian. He's like, okay, guys, let me in. I'm in. I have a show too, you guys, and they're all like, they're all like
I have a show
man-spreading.
too.
They're all man-spreading with their stance, and he's like, hey, come on, guys, come on.
This must have been pretty recently because Ewan's hair's very short, isn't it,
Yeah.
Jace?
Yeah,
Must have been a pretty recent photo shoot.
yeah,
Can-
yeah.
Can we Photoshop his mask on that he was wearing in the car when you saw him? You know?
Oh, man.
So we know what it looks like out in public. Like,
Yeah, but yeah, so the article kind of begins with Diego Luna talking about secrecy and having to, like, taking the job when he didn't really. He agreed when Gilroy called him and offered him the job. He like said yeah without even thinking about it, then realized his life was in Mexico, and he's gonna have to go to the UK to film this thing. And he was kind of like, "What did I just do?" But sounds good though.
Oh, it's tough life,
Right?
I have very little sympathy for any actor that has to move somewhere on a big studio's dime and shoot some Star Wars. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, it's tough life.
But what you have to understand is that in Los Angeles, we have dispensaries everywhere. It's probably a little harder out there. I don't know. Anyways,
They have
first,
fantastic curry in the UK.
yeah, but that doesn't get you
eat.
stoned. First up,
Fuck is me
yeah.
high. Like, curry high.
Yeah. Then they talk a little bit about about how Ewan McGregor and here's something else for what it's worth. Didn't we see that Ewan McGregor got married? And sometimes people will still call their person their partner, and maybe he just is freshly married. But I wonder if that says something about when the interview was conducted. If because some of the interviews do sound like they could be a little bit backdated to some extent. Like they may have been working on this piece for a long time, for a couple of months. You know what I mean, or whatever. Yeah. And because like in this piece, as we'll see, they shoot down the Michael Waldron writing Star Wars thing. They don't shoot it down, but they're like, oh, we'll see what Feige has to offer. Whereas just like this week, we have Waldron going, hey, I'm writing this.
My buddy who didn't like Doctor Strange loves to throw box office numbers at me. And so Friday there was like an 87% drop. He goes, look, it fails. And I'm like, first off, I'm like, I don't give a shit what the fuck makes money. I don't get anything from it.
Yeah.
But then when it fucking like made more money than the entire Doctor Strange, then you shut up, silence. Like it's just funny.
When you fucking idiots went and saw Transformers movies and made us have a bajillion of those, I don't care how much anything makes. It's not a measure of anything, good or bad.
What I am interested in, and it'd be fun, man, if one day you could ever interview Waldron. Like, I think you'd be an excellent interview for that guy. But like, I mean, when you write for a series, you get like real creative control, right, on television? Or does Lucasfilm run their series the same way as you would a movie, where the writer, like on the movie Doctor Strange, he wrote it, but he doesn't have the same kind of creative control as you would on a TV show.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like,
he did talk about that. He talked about that with Star Wars. He said, like, this is kind of nice because it's not connected to all of these other things. So I'm not having to like worry about how things interface necessarily. Like that was the point of his comment on that, which made us think it's something completely like something kind of like in a different era or different time, or something so original it has no connection to Mandalorians and stuff like that, right? That was our takeaway from that one. But then Gilroy talks a little bit about going back. Not really a lot to say about that, really. The show also focuses on the enigmatic rebel leader Mon Mothma, played by Guinevere, or is it Genevieve? Is that how you say it? Genevieve? Is that O'Reilly? Who's portrayed her as the young senator in Revenge of the Sith, and which was also cut, by the way. She wasn't actually in the movie, I don't think. And but it's weird.
She in there? It's called Andor.
Oh God, is it a bait and switch? Is it a Mon Mothma series?
It's like the time I went to go see The Dark Knight and fucking Joker was good. This is ridiculous. You know what I mean? No one talked about Batman. It was all
I went to see Batman and instead I saw Catwoman.
Joke.
What the fuck was that? What? God. Oh, super chat me $10. Thank you.
I went to Jack in the Box. All I got was irritable bowel syndrome.
Hey,
the title.
Hey,
what?
I told you I went to Jack in the Box and then I ate some soy tacos. I got soy boy titties. I got an extra set.
That will happen. It's on the label.
It's on the label. It promises you.
It's on the label. Sorry.
Yeah, and then we got Kathy Kennedy saying, "It's a theme that binds all the new shows, devotion. What's unique about Star Wars is that we're only one story, basically," says Kathleen Kennedy. George was always dealing with episodes, ironically. He was serializing his storytelling. He was influenced by Flash Gordon and cliffhangers on Saturdays at movie theaters. All of that informed what the DNA of Star Wars is, which is why I think it's organic that we made the transition into television. So, sorry, I didn't mean to make it all smug. I just kind of got carried away.
No, I enjoyed it.
She never mentions I was how I was really influenced by the Stooges. And,
not the television show, the punk band. She just really loves Iggy Pop.
That's a band. That's a band. Okay.
Iggy and the Stooges, man. Come on, raw power. Get it. You're gonna love it. Ewan McGregor and his partner Mary Elizabeth Winstead will both be on the new Lucasfilm shows. Our little boy has been born into this massive Star Wars family. He will either embrace it or really go the other way. Maybe he'll be a Trekkie. Yeah, that's what he'll do. That's how it goes. So all of this led to the hiatus, a fallow spot. Whoa, I hear myself. That's weird. So yeah. So anyways, the hiatus, which I also kind of think is a little bit funny because I'm kind of curious if the hiatus is really giving us all of this stuff, or I mean, because like we're not getting the movie next year. I guess the hiatus did lead to this. I should probably shut up about that. But Jon Favreau.
See, you just did it all real time. That was great.
Yeah. I've been doing this for 2 hours already, so I'm a little on my wits end.
My goal is to wear him down so he drops spoilers.
Uh-oh. Oh, you're getting me, Santa. I knew that Jon Favreau was always deeply interested in Star Wars. He said, not only would I have an interest, I have an idea, says Favreau. And what's unique about John is his commitment, Kennedy said. He had a sole focus pretty much on this for the last several years. That's been a godsend. So,
yeah, I really don't have anywhere to go. I just do cameos now at Marvel, and then I can do this. And then
he's like, yeah, he's like, I can probably
anything else to do. Yeah, they didn't want me back on the Friends reunion. I don't know why. It was pretty good episode. It was pretty good.
I mean, he's like, he could probably, I don't know, bring like, I don't know, Jungle Book or something.
Code names. I come up with code names like Grammar Rodeo, Chunky Tuna, like whatever. I'm pretty good at
it. Chunky Tuna.
Yeah. Well, it was going to be Star Kiss, but it was 2 on the nose. Or on the tail, as I like to say. But okay, whatever. Sure. Pretty good.
Jon Favreau, do you still want us to save the tuna water, or do you want us to strain it this time?
Wish I had an immediate reply for that. It's pretty
Save
good.
Save it. I'll drink it.
as Spreezy takes a swish.
Gotta get those fluids up, mate.
So check it out, guys.
Carb, actually, it's pretty good.
Here we go back on another contradiction. Director James Mangold. That wasn't the problem, though. See, look, the first. And for a long time, the only Mandalorian in the early Star Wars films was Boba Fett. And Lucasfilm planned to make him the central character in a feature film being developed by director James Mangold.
Oh, shit! I knew that was real.
Well, or is this Vanity Fair holding on to
that shit goes
data?
right through Lucasfilm PR, bro. They do not put that out without the okay on that.
But Lucasfilm PR is then saying, let's cop to a lie. It's very confusing.
No, I think that really happened.
But they literally they said it didn't. They just said
they
it
lied
didn't
because I remember that specific. Man, dude, that he came on for that after fucking Shrank, and then it turned into Indiana Jones, and he lies all the time. Like, Mangold just gets angry and lies.
Well, I think Kennedy said it. I think Kennedy was the one who said that wasn't true, that he was never doing a Boba Fett film.
Frank Marshall told her to do that. Remember when we're all at the bar and remember when they pay us? People don't know that.
Oh, when they pay us.
Disney bucks. It's not. I mean, it only works in the fucking park. Right. I don't live in California anymore.
I wish the reality of the internet was true. I wish they were like, here, Jason, here's money. Spoil the show. that'd be having my cake and eating it too. You know what I
That
mean?
would be the sweetest gig ever.
That would be the best.
Yeah, I would be like, come at me, I'm a shill.
Yeah.
The
I'm
shill
like,
show.
I can just be the worst narrator of the series if you want me to just do that instead. Anyways, that wasn't the problem though. Although Favreau would eventually pick up the Boba Fett story after Mangold moved on to another Lucasfilm property, directing Indiana Jones 5. And once again, there is always a chance that Anthony Breznican, who wrote this, was working on old data from the trades, and that it was an oversight. There is a chance that if they had so many nitpicks about things in the story that was overlooked. Just that is possible. Anyways, the problem faced was that another esteemed creative executive, Dave Filoni, had also devised a series focused on Mandalorians. Filoni and the colorful cowboy hat wearing mastermind behind many of the Lucasfilm animated shows.
I approve that message.
He's like, actually, my hat is black. He joined the company in 2005 as an apprentice to Lucas himself and developed the Clone Wars with them. Filoni wanted to
tell me not to wear a robe the second day in, so I just put the hat on instead.
Wouldn't it be funny if Filoni showed up with a baseball cap and Lucas just took it off his head, threw it on the ground, and said, "Now this is your new hat." And then he just ever since he's wears
Shit's
it.
for Warner Brothers.
Filoni wanted to explore some of the ideas they never fully realized. I remember when I did Clone Wars, George came in and said, "Well, the Mandalorians are pacifists in this time period." I'm like, "Oh, well, that's very different than what everybody thinks they were." And he was like, "Well, you've got to remember that people are never just one thing. Cultures evolve and they change over time." Yep. And then basically,
this is funny watching him give an anthropological conversation in a writer's room about Star Wars.
Yeah.
I don't know. One of those Gungans used to all be into hip hop, and then they stopped. It was a phase.
He's like, you think the Gungans were into hip hop, but they were actually in Stomp. They were actually very, very, very palatable to our class of whites. Oh no! What? Anyways, being able to
you shouldn't make yourself say that, Jason.
I know, right? Being able to channel the creator makes Filoni indispensable at Lucasfilm. He was a critical part of the company's new TV ventures, and Kennedy had been nurturing his filmmaking ambitions ever since her arrival. Favreau and Filoni were friendly, but Kennedy feared a turf war might erupt. Lucasfilm Civil War.
Disney turf war. Lucasfilm turf war.
She devised a fix. I arranged a play date, she says. There they go, infantilizing Dave Filoni. The big cock of Dave Filoni has been infantilized by the woman Kathleen Kennedy once again.
Every time I come in the room, they play "Here Comes the Rooster." So you
Here come the rooster. The chickens are come to roost. After a meeting in Los Angeles, Favreau and Filoni exchanged ideas and drawings for a Mandalorian TV show that could combine their ideas. They got along instantly like gangbusters, says Kennedy. Filoni's knowledge of Mandalorian history.
He likes Garbage Pail Kids, and I like Garbage Pail Kids.
No, he's not. He likes Garbage Pail Kids. I like Cabbage Patch Kids. We just go right together. Filoni's knowledge.
We both do the Cabbage Patch.
Filoni's knowledge of Mandalorian history blended with Favreau's lone gunslinger concept. Most importantly, the new partners challenged each other. Favreau's idea for the child was the biggest sticking point. It gave us some pause, Kennedy said. He and Dave debated that quiet ferociously. Right here.
I just said, look, think about all the toys we're going to sell. And then Dave went, oh okay. That was it. Deep fucking conversation between Favreau and Filoni.
And then right here, they're selling the idea that he's going to wear the Darth Vader cape, and that cape training is what is very important in today's world. I also want to ask you guys, are those like the Darth Vader boots that he's wearing? I'm curious if or are those just some hipster shit he's wearing?
Boots. Nah, they look like some hipster boots.
Yeah. Would you? Yeah, I'm curious. I was curious about that too.
I don't know about you. I think I think they've come a long way in like CGI cape technology. So I think like when they like, I know it sounds stupid, but they
It's
have
funny.
like 99% of all the capes in movies now are CGI.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think when they're standing there, it looks great. But when
Yeah.
they're fighting, I just imagine a CGI cape is probably easier to deal with, you know?
I
It was
don't
very,
know.
it was very evident with Moon Knight too. I noticed the cape was just it looked very, very fake.
But you just controlling a cape though, like you ever see some idiot Comic Con do when he tries to like do parkour and he's got a cape on?
Well,
It
actually,
looks really bad.
Kathleen Kennedy had just come off of a motorcycle ride with Frank Marshall. She was on the back, and she said that she never felt so alive when the wind was whipping in her hair, and she would not allow them to do a CGI cape after that. That's when she knew that you need big fans and capes. And when I say big fans, I don't mean us. I mean big fans. Anyways, the child, of course, the pistachio-hued scene stiller who would melt the Mandalorian's icy bounty hunter heart by becoming the innocent he must be to protect at all cost. The little one remained under wraps until the debut of the first episode, then instantly became an object of global adoration. His real name is Grogu, but in our world, he is forever Baby Yoda. Honestly, it's something I never would have done because Yoda is Yoda, Filoni says. Yoda's home world and backstory were never fully revealed. And see right there, he's and Filoni wanted to protect the mystery and Lucas built around the original Jedi Master. I think people now look back and think it was like a slam dunk, but we were very cautious, Filoni says of the child. The amount of measuring, especially in the first season, for how we were framing the kid took a lot of effort. So once again, we have Yaddle erasure, ladies and gentlemen. Yaddle erasure.
I thought she was like interjecting herself into that prequel movie. We only need one minch. You know what I mean?
keep saying interject. We'll up the super chats by 57%. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, I like to interject myself into a merkin. So,
I'm a
70
real
fan.
American. The pair spoke with Vanity Fair in the joint Zoom interview. There were a lot of different looks that pop. Wait, this is okay. Wait, hold on. One of them drawn. This talks about the trying to get Baby Yoda down. Whatever, they got him down.
Mhm.
They fucking did it. All right, the cluster of
However,
bulky
will we get a puppet to work? I don't know.
Who knows? The cluster of bulky beige buildings. Ever since George Lucas started digital puppetry, all puppeteers have vanished.
Yeah, I created puppets on my own. That's true.
He's all, I wiped out a whole generation of puppeteers. The cluster of bulky beige buildings in Manhattan Beach, a South Bay community near Los Angeles, looks as boring as any warehouse district. They are the khaki pants of architecture. Inside at least two of these sound stages, however, are portals to other worlds. After The Mandalorian debuted in late 2019, Lucasfilm's special effects division, Industrial Light and Magic, began to reveal basically they talk about the volume. It's a little bit boring, to be honest with you. There's LED screens. I'll mention the James Cameron part for you. If anyone on Earth could see the seams of the effect, it would be Cameron. I remember distinctly Jim taking off his glasses and leaning close to look at the quality of the image and how convincing it was, Bluff says. I think for everybody, that afternoon was the eureka moment because it was working. It's working. So
he takes the goggles off. It's working. It's working.
Cameron was like, God damn it, you boys did it again. ILM. And then right here we got this
Can
is
you do
probably
it underwater? That's what he asked him.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And
Pretty
we
good.
got like
Pretty good shot.
some two backgrounds put together.
Colorful.
Yeah. This is probably during
that hat.
We got a guy holding he's on, hey, Favreau, you want me to cut your pizza? I got the world's giant pizza cutter you've ever seen in your life. and look at him. He's like, I told you I wanted tuna water for lunch.
So speaking of pizza, someone yesterday in the chat asked if Hayden could be in the MCU, what character would he be? And I'm like, it needs to be a younger Pizza Papa.
A pizza
If you've
papa.
seen Doctor Strange, you know who Pizza Papa is. I think he'd be the perfect Pizza Papa.
I don't really recognize the building behind here, but that does look like it's the Mandalorian's ship's engine. So this is probably from Mandalorian season 3. I'm gonna
that's an M1
assume
starfighter back
the
there.
engine, yeah. But this building, I don't know. Maybe we did
It's the
see it
Bradley
before,
building.
or that's not the elevator he takes in his episode, is it? That he takes in that one episode. Anyways, I'm
No.
not positive. No, it's not. Okay, yeah. But once again, these
Chris is
photos.
like, nope.
These photos are usually like composites of things and not
Yeah, but they're
like,
good. They're good.
oh, once again, yeah. But what I'm saying is trying to glean stuff from it.
Is that the fire spray back there?
Yeah, right there.
That's for you, Maynard.
Mm-hmm. One of the first outsiders to see the volume was Pedro Pascal. When the actor was recruited by Favreau to lend a flinty presence to the Mandalorian's anti-hero. He came pretty late, though. I'm not really sure about. I mean, unless he came early and saw what they were doing before they started. I knew it was an ace in the hole. I just knew it. I know aces in the holes. I always put aces in holes. I'm a real ace hole myself. No, he didn't say that. And I haven't been surprised by any of it. So yeah. And then but that had been a selling point for him too. The character, later revealed to be named Din Djarin, is such a hardline devotee to Mandalorian rules that he scrupulously keeps his helmet on in the presence of others. That means Pascal can sometimes play the role as a voice actor while a stand-in wears the armor, which frees him to accept other projects. Maybe I'm a little bit of a commitment phobe, he says, but the coolness of it really excites me, and the lifespan of it really intimidates me. That seems fair.
He had to go make that movie with the Daisy Ridley. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he had to make the Daisy Ridley film. So.
Wait, did you say he made a movie with Daisy Ridley?
Mm-hmm.
For our next exercise, I would like you to enter me for 30 thrusts. Let's do that 10 times. And continue until I say we're done.
Looks good.
That was the day John Wayne was working. Would you? Who would you?
He's all that day.
God damn right.
I didn't have John Wayne's grandson show up for me. I went myself. Yeah, then it talks a little bit about Ewan McGregor, but in 2017, he was invited to the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood for the marathon screening of every Star Wars film. They asked me if I wanted to introduce one, and I've never done anything like that, but suddenly it struck me that I really did want to, McGregor recalls. Why had his feelings changed? I don't know, he says, scratching his scruffy cheek. I really do think it has to do with growing up. And so basically, he just accepted who he was. Yeah, it was... Honestly, I got the truth is probably like I met this really hot ass chick, cheated on my wife, had to give her a ton of stuff, like a ton of stuff. Like you have no fucking idea how much shit I had to give her. But this chick was smoking, so I went with it. You know,
they said they would give me a PS5, so I said,
and then now here I am, and I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi again because I got some bills.
I would not get the Xbox. They brick. You know, shit. Fuck.
Man. Yeah, I'm proud of McGregor because.
By the way, he's really fucking cool in that. I like that Cage movie he just did with Nick Cage about Nick Cage.
Mm-hmm.
Good movie. Fun.
Oh yeah, I want to see it. I want to see it.
Yeah,
did it come out? It came out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
It came out. It's fun.
Yeah. No, I'm actually kind of hoping that one becomes like the second film at the drive-in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because that seems like a good second movie to watch with something else.
It would
be. Yeah. When Obi-Wan later...
hold on. If you could see that and everything all at once, right? Like, that would be the wildest night at the drive-in.
Yeah. And I've seen that one. I liked it. When Obi-Wan later... When the Obi-Wan film crew later evolved into an Obi-Wan TV series as part of Lucasfilm's new yearning for Disney Plus content, Daldry departed and Deborah Chow time, a director from The Mandalorian, came aboard with the goal to keep the series cinematic in scope. There remained one missing component. McGregor's prequel co-star Hayden Christensen had been Anakin Skywalker to his Obi-Wan, brothers in arms, until the brutal battle on a lava flow in Revenge of the Sith. Still, in the early iterations of the Obi-Wan and Exile story, Vader wasn't included. Once again, everything I had ever heard over the years, it was the exact opposite, and I have no reason to disbelieve my Lucasfilm sources. I believe that where they have their wires crossed is that Vader was always in the Obi-Wan Kenobi stories. Anakin Skywalker is the difference. And they can't say that yet, though.
Oh,
They can't
from a certain
say
point
that.
of view.
They can't they don't want to tell us that there's an Anakin Skywalker flashback.
From a certain point of PR.
Yeah. It's an ongoing conundrum at Lucasfilm. How should they showcase legacy characters and how much should they keep in reserve? Would introducing Vader in a story about Obi-Wan Kenobi's exile detract from the fateful meeting on the Death Star in 1977 Star Wars when Vader strikes down his old friend? Or could a previously unknown encounter actually enhance that moment? We have these what-if conversations 24/7, says Michelle Rajawan, an executive producer of Obi-Wan and one of the company's lead development chiefs. It's fun
Scourge
to, in
of
your
episode 9.
right? Summoner of JJ. It's fun to, in your head, pursue the Star Wars toy store. Well, okay. Oh, I need my glasses. Sorry, guys. This is getting too hard. We could have this character or feature that shit. But at the end of the day, we really need to keep it pure about why. That seems fair. Let's see. Hopefully our friend Chris comes back. I don't know what happened. You know, he got scared. At the time of the meeting, it had been 14 years since Revenge of the Sith. He was assuming his glory days were done. He was happy to be wrong. This is a character that has come to define my life in so many ways, he says. I was originally hired to play a very specific portion of this person's life. Most of my work was with Anakin, and now I get to come back and explore the character of Darth Vader. So technically, you don't need Christensen for Vader. All you need is the mask, a hulking figure in the suit, and if you're lucky, James Earl Jones's imperious voice. But do we need Christensen to show the audience the hot-headed but compassionate man who was lost when Anakin Skywalker became Vader? A lot of my conversations with Deborah were about wanting to convey this feeling of strength, but also coupled with imprisonment, Christensen says. This is the power and vulnerability, and I think it's an interesting space to explore. So it's kind of cool, I guess. You know, I mean, it's kind of like a given, and with like what I was hearing about how we see him reconstructed and stuff like that, and you know, he is in a prison. You know what I mean in this story, and he's also going to be really pissed off. So
like Creed, my own prison, right?
Now there are two of them.
Hey,
They're
man.
both on the
Hey,
same
Chris.
Wi-Fi connection,
Yeah.
apparently. Right.
Yeah.
Who?
Well, no, you're doing well today, Max.
No, actually,
Unfortunately-
yesterday I ended up clearing my cache, and that seemed to help.
I just knocked a bunch of shit down. Oh well. Chicken on the floor. Chicken on the floor. I'm not my chicken on the floor. Okay. Anyways, so part of Chow's successful perspective on why Vader and Kenobi should face each other again may surprise even the most ardent of Star Wars fans, especially those who think of the two as harboring an epic contempt for one another. For me, across the prequels through the original trilogy, there's a love story dynamic with these two that goes through the whole thing, Chow says. I felt like it was quite hard to not include the person who left Kenobi in such anguish in the series. What intrigued her was the idea that despite what Vader had become, Kenobi might still care deeply about him. I don't know how you could not, she says. I don't think he ever will not care about him. What's special about that relationship is that they loved each other. Then why did you put Reva in the whole thing? Why did you do that? Huh? Why did you do that, Deborah Chow?
You're making me think things, Jason. Don't do that. Make me think things.
Yeah.
Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. Sorry.
Hey, come on. While Luna, well, we're back to Luna. Did I just jump up or what? While Luna is the kind of actor who huddles in the backseat of a car, hiding his Star Wars call from, and it talks about Rosario Dawson dressing up as a character and calling people. It's real fluffy stuff. And then right here, we got that great Jon Favreau pump. Look at it go. Look at it go. Look at that profile. That's a profile of a man right there. Gotta say, sometimes, I don't think Favreau gets enough credit for just being a man sometimes. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
look at me.
Everyone thought I was going to be fucking toast after Iron Man 2, but
I mean, once you see him drink tuna water out of a straw, though, through a straw, that's when you know he's a fucking man.
Well, it's gluten free.
Look at Grogu.
Definitely.
He's like, kill me. Look at him, kill me.
So cute.
COVID has weighed upon us all.
Oh,
He's so cute.
That fucking robe of his must reek by now.
yeah.
Ew.
This is the first time I've ever seen him like wearing something different. He usually wears that blue polo all the time. Yeah, it talks a little bit. Not really much love for Mandalorian or from Book of Boba in this, is there? The quest Ahsoka has hinted at in her guest appearance in The Mandalorian and Boba Fett hunting an Imperial Grand Admiral named Thrawn, who vanished into deep space at the conclusion of the animated Rebels series. It's likely to be explored further, although plot details are still being held tightly. Ahsoka is a continuous story, Filoni says. It is definitely driving towards a goal, in my mind, as opposed to being little singular adventures. That's why I want the character to be doing, and I think that's what fans want now. They have such a relationship with her. I've only recently started to understand that all these kids that watch the Clone Wars are now a lot older, and they're very excited about all the things they grew up with, as they should be. This house is clean.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I don't know why I read that as Zelda Rubinstein or whatever, but I did. I do what I want.
Step into the light. Step into the light. Yeah, as if Lucas never once told him, hey, these fucking kids are going to grow up one day. So the ones that bitch about the Ewoks one day are going to be there begging for episode 1.
Right?
Like he never fucking ever told him that. Sure.
I'm the one kid. I'm the one kid that's like, hey, are we ever going to get more of those Ewok movies? We ever going to do any more of that?
I gave you 2 more right on straight to Disney Channel. I don't know what you're complaining about.
It would be pretty fun though if they seriously did do like an Ewok story that sort of embraced a little bit of that hilarious Ewok hunt style of like they are ferocious monster killers in the night, but also was like, here's Ewoks at the same time, you know. I'd be aboard. Anyways, okay, so this is what we're talking about on Santa's show today. If you want to hear a completely different version of the same thing I'm doing now, watch the Santa show this morning with me and Meg. It was a good time. The 2018 movie Solo explored Han Solo's younger years, with Alden Ehrenreich taking on the role of the smuggler, originated by Harrison Ford. The film has its admirers, but it made less at the box office than any other live-action Star Wars movie. Solo's swagger may be too singular for another actor to replicate. There should be moments along the way when you learn things, Kennedy says. Now, it does seem abundantly clear that we can't do that. Ooh. Kennedy admits failure. Kennedy admits wrong. That fucking bitch. Get out of here. You're fired. I mean, those videos are actually happening right now. People are sending me those, so that's why I'm making fun of it. I'm getting in a little early. I'm getting in a little under the clock here, but yeah, people are taking that as really hard on Alden Ehrenreich. I don't think it's necessarily. I don't think that's what it was. My personal take is I don't buy that the Last Jedi backlash that you saw on the internet had anything to do with it. I think it had to do with the fact that they released 2 movies super fucking close together because that's what Bobby I wanted. And then and they always had an uphill battle of convincing people that they were recasting Han Solo. That's always going to be a thing, but it happens all the time. I got a lot of different Batmans, got a lot of different James Bonds. It's completely
he literally recast Obi-Wan
and Luke and Leia
bitched.
and Luke and Leia so are coming too. Nobody's bitched about little Luke being not Mark Hamill sucked into a time vortex.
Not yet.
Pulled off.
But I mean,
yeah,
not yet.
No one's been like, we need to somehow find a way to reanimate the corpse of Alec Guinness to be fucking Obi-Wan. No one can play the role. Like, it's just not true. It's just like yeah, Harrison Ford is a tough guy to emulate. However, you know, the whole tone of that movie was fucking wrong. Like, cinematography wise, it's pretty to look at, but it should just be a fun adventure romp.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing just, no one was like, Lando sucked. No, it's not the problem. This
Well,
is not
actually,
the problem.
that's where I wanted to go because Chris messaged me in the morning and he's like, dude, I think this means Lando's not happening. And I gotta say, Luke, Leia, Obi-Wan, you know what I mean? No, those are all recast. I don't think it has to mean that. I hope it doesn't mean that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
And
but
like
they
you
also
said on the, like you said on the Santa show, Jason, you said that Glover's popularity is 3-4 times as popular as
Billy D. Williams. I mean, he was like and the truth is like they're in the 70s. A lot of the times there weren't a lot of great roles being given to dark skinned actors. Is the truth. And then they were kind of like put into a little box at times. Like, hey, you could do black movies. And then that once again in doing that limited his star power. He did end up getting in the huge. I mean, he's in Empire Strikes Back. He's in Batman. But then they didn't move forward with them and make him Two-Face like they were supposed to, and stuff like that.
Until the Lego Batman movie.
Thank you.
I liked Solo.
No, I liked it too. I will say Solo. I like I said on Santa's show today, it doesn't make Han Solo worse. That's kind of a win, but it doesn't make Han Solo better either. Uh-oh. I'm sorry. It made Han Solo better. Han is way better. I'm sorry.
Mohan did not like that at all.
I won't say it again.
Yeah.
Solo is
actually
good.
Kathleen Kennedy in the background complaining. That's what it sounds like. It's real catty.
Yeah.
Catty Kathy.
Chatty Kathy. Oh man. All right. To endure Star Wars will need new actors, new characters, and a new era, vaulting away from the timeline as we know it. Another upcoming series, The Acolyte, reportedly starring Amandla Stenberg, aims to do that. The show is in the casting phase, but the writing is largely complete, says showrunner Leslie Headland, co-creator of the time-looping Netflix show Russian Doll. She has been planning it for 2 years, mostly from the confines of her home. Her dog and cat, who peek in curiously from the background of Zoom conversations, and certainly steeped in the concept of the Galaxy's High Republic era, she says. But casual Star Wars fans who haven't been following the recent novels and comics might still be unaware. The Acolyte, Headland says, takes place roughly 100 years before The Phantom Menace. And a lot of these characters haven't even been born yet. We're taking a look at the political and personal and spiritual things that came up in a period that we don't know much about. My question when watching The Phantom Menace was always like, well, how did things get to this point? How did we get to a point where a Sith Lord can infiltrate the Senate and none of the Jedi pick up on it? Like, what went wrong? What are the scenarios that led to this moment? And everybody knows it's Darth Plagueis. Everybody knows it was a TV game show host. It was a TV game show host as the Chancellor.
Well, look, Twitter sometimes gives you a president maybe 30% of the people vote for, and that's how it works. It's the real lesson of the Phantom Menace.
You said it.
So cheeky.
Yeah.
Headland describes The Acolyte as a mystery thriller set in a prosperous and seemingly perfect era when the galaxy is still sleek and glistening. We actually use the term the Renaissance or the Age of Enlightenment, she says. Jedi were not always aesthetic monk-like figures living selflessly and bravely. The Jedi uniforms are gold and white, and it's almost like they would never get dirty. They would never be out and about, Headland says. The idea is that they could have these type of uniforms because that's how little they're getting into the skirmishes. And then clearly they're going to get into. Well, I
no, I'm talking about the High Republic. Like
no,
the High Republic. Right?
Yeah, I think the point is that stuff starts to go south, and then we do see those uniforms start to get fucked up, and we see that change. So if that's what it is, yeah, if it's a bunch of people going, well, just another day in the Jedi Temple. I wonder if I should read the ancient Jedi text. That's good.
Welcome to Downton Jedi.
Yeah. Right.
Hey, Sprat.
Yeah.
Would you like some blue milk? Oh shit.
And then this is the fun part right here. Another new series on the horizon doesn't even have a title, just a code name, Grammar Rodeo, a reference to an episode of The Simpsons in which Bart and his schoolmates steal a car and run away for a week, using a phony educational event as an alibi. The show takes place during the post Return of the Jedi reconstruction that follows the fall of the Empire, the same as The Mandalorian, but its plot remains a secret. It's created and executive produced by director John Watts, so it's created by John Watts, and writer Chris Ford, who made Spider-Man Homecoming for Marvel. A casting call notice has called for 4 children, all around 11 to 12 years old. Inside Lucasfilm, the show is being described as a galactic version of the classic Amblin coming-of-age adventure films of the 1980s. Fucking Goonies. So it's going with that real Amblin feeling, and that's great because Kathleen Kennedy is a part of that. She was involved in a lot of those movies.
Yeah, she's gonna play Mama Fratelli in this one.
Oh shit!
You know, she's aged enough. We think she can pull it off.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
But I mean, no, but we thought it was really curious a couple of weeks ago, and there was that bullshit story, that bullshit fucking idea that it was a High Republic series, which is complete fucking trash. And when we put all that together, we were like, wow, it's weird that Favreau's involved in that era. I'm like, huh, interesting. You know, like that kind of like was like kind of a head scratcher. And now we see, no, it's not. But I'm there's a couple of things I want to throw out there. Interesting concepts. Remember in I don't remember what they were called, but in Star Wars Aftermath, which we have seen Favreau pull stuff from Aftermath and extrapolate upon. I remember there were those like kids that were like they were like ex-rebellion kids, and they were like kind of like they were like freedom fighters, but they were like children. And there was like a whole thing with them, and it was one of the more interesting. I don't remember what they were called. They were like the ankle biters or something.
Which one was this?
Aftermath.
Oh,
There were these kids who were like freedom fighters, and it kind of like was like going a little bit like with as things were collapsing, what their experience was. And I'm kind of wondering if maybe they might be picking up on some of those like threads, you know. But anyways, all of it's interesting. Another concept that we could see is that these could be kids that are going to be in Luke Skywalker's Jedi school. And this could be the students who will meet up with Luke Skywalker, and maybe we're going to follow their adventure and into finding Luke.
Chance.
Is that what you think? Yeah,
you think so? Chance.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a very likely potentiality, especially with. I mean, for what it's worth, they have got a lot out of Luke Skywalker, but all of that R&D that went into making that happen, why wouldn't you continue to utilize it? You know,
right?
Baymax, channel member, friend, rogue scholar says 80s movie kid adventure movies reference in the Mandoverse era explains Fav being an executive producer. Could we see Mando tie-ins and cameos? I think so. I think that goes without saying. That seems completely possible. I mean, also I'm gonna throw out there, what if this is what if Grogu was with these kids before he got taken? What if we end up seeing them kind of reconvene? You know,
what if see Grogu go down like a water slide, like the water slide, like this? You know what I always thought it reminded me of? Remember those Starburst commercials where you go down the chute of like fruit? I always wanted that.
That was real.
It
was real fruit juice.
Remember when Gizmo drove the Barbie car?
Yes.
We need to give Grogu a little land speeder like that, don't we?
I wanted a Barbie car after that. Like,
yeah,
my dad was like, no. So what?
Yeah, what? Just because it's pink, don't mean it ain't cool.
Maybe they'll have a toy. Maybe he'll take Luke's toy T-16 and he'll like fly it
inside of it and flies it around.
He'll get on top of it, you know,
yeah,
gonna fly a little.
Don't give Fortnite any ideas for emotes, please. We have a roadmap, Kennedy says, although Lucasfilm's big screen return is unlikely to follow the same relentless cadence as before. A movie from Jojo Rabbit's Taika Waititi in 1917 screenwriter Christy Wilson Cairns will likely arrive first, with Rogue Squadron from Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins further off. Yeah. Is it true that Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige will produce a Star Wars film? I would love to see what movie he might come up with, Kennedy says, but right now, no, there isn't anything specifically, which Waldron has confirmed he's fucking writing. And the trilogy from The Last Jedi's Rian Johnson that was announced a few years ago, backburnered. Ryan has been unbelievably busy with Knives Out and the deal he made at Netflix for a couple of movies. So, yeah.
So do we think that we are not getting a Star Wars movie until December 2025? Because I find that hard to believe. Another 3.5 years. It's a bit appeal
Yeah,
to
that's
us.
when you're getting one. 2025.
Star
Unless it's
Wars
coming out in the summer.
Santa.
Hey, Santa.
Oh, hello, Rob. No. Hey, everybody. Good to see you all. It's good to come
Hey.
visit. Max,
Hello.
how's our favorite
Cat.
Mohawk doing? Yeah,
He just yelled because Jason was talking shit about Solo.
there you
Yeah. He loves
Yeah.
Solo.
He loves Solo.
go.
Santa's checking in from the padded room.
That's great.
So this part made me really, really happy because like I said earlier on Santa's show, I feel like Star Wars hasn't been a trilogy since 1999. And it's just a marketing ploy, and it's not really the best thing for active storytelling. She says, Kathy Kennedy says, I hesitate to use the word trilogies anymore because Star Wars is much more about persistent storytelling, Kennedy says. Now she just needs to recruit feature filmmakers. So yeah, and I think that's something that a conclusion they came to back when they had the Game of Thrones guys aboard. Remember the announcement for that was like, oh, we're gonna like do 1 or 2, and if they connect, we'll keep doing them. That was kind of where they were going with that, and I think that was like maybe the first realization that trilogies are needlessly hard, and they don't necessarily like
and formulaic. Just the amount of episodes, like just. You could do 1, you could do 4, but set into 3. It's just, I think Mission Impossible series has done a really good job of showing that,
Yeah.
like each one kind of doing its thing, but also like not. I don't know. That series is the most underrated, undervalued franchise in Hollywood right now. It's pretty good. So, yeah.
I just got a thing from saying Disney Plus won't take commercials for alcohol, politics, or streaming rivals. No shit. All right, on March 19th, Kennedy and Lucas
taking our commercial now.
Nope. And received the Milestone Award from the Producers Guild of America. And something happened to her while watching the video montage. The clips of the pair over the decades included a shirtless Lucas and a squirt gun battle with Steven Spielberg, and Kennedy and Lucas joking around in production, disrupting downpour. What I was so taken with is how much fun we were having, she says. It amounted to this moment of realization. I do think a little bit of fun has gone out of making these gigantic movies. The business, the stakes, everything that's been infused in the last 10 years or so. There's a kind of spontaneity and good time that we have to be careful to preserve. I keep holding on to it. It better be fun. After more than 50 years with Lucasfilm navigating a new path, that's a good lodestar to follow as any. So, yeah, there we go.
Wasn't that the movie Spielberg like cheated on his wife and then got divorced? Tons of fun on the Temple of Doom.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
Santa?
Oh, of course. Yes.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
Jason, you got to do his song one time, and then just the chorus of Santa doing the ho-hos like that.
We'll do our Christmas song this year. I think it's time. We'll just sample it. We'll get Baymax on the sampler. All right. So okay, let's see what the chat has been telling us a little bit. David, channel member, pirate, adventurer, says, I read in that article that Taika's movie is coming out first, Rogue Squadron second. I'm excited for either. I got to be honest. I would take any movie as soon as possible. I think I'd take any movie over not having a movie, essentially. But I'm the Rogue Squadron concept. I want to see it, but I'm also not really not super. I'm super into it. I don't know.
Why? Because not enough about it, or what do you think?
I mean, just when I think of if I think of it in classic Star Wars storytelling tropes and ideas, concepts.
Mhm.
It doesn't really push very much forward. It's just a lot more like more of the same. So and once again, maybe when I hear like it's like this mission and there's this thing or whatever, then maybe I'll be like, oh, okay, I want to see that. But even like when we look at what Top Gun 2, if you're me, is what I call it. Top Gun 2, like it's doing this like stuff with like cockpit technology where they're like actually in the jets and their faces are moving and it looks realistic and like, okay, I'm interested. I want to see that.
Mhm.
I don't know. Number one, Star Wars can't really do that because X-Wing fighters aren't real. And then but there has to be like some gimmick to it that I just can't fathom yet, that I don't know what's their pitch on it. Other than, oh, you loved Wedge Antilles, you love Porkins, you're gonna love Rogue Squadron. Like, no, not really, not really. I love Poe Dameron, but most of Poe Dameron's best moments aren't even when he's in the ship. It's when like Finn's like, that's a hell of a pilot. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not really the Rogue Squadron thing, is it? So I don't know. Like I said, I'm interested in a Star Wars movie with fighter pilots. It could be cool, but and then the Taika movie though, that sounds like it's just something completely off the rails and different. And that's where I'm more interested. I that Ben-Hur poster makes me think it's going to have gladiators and arenas, and maybe it's about fights and stuff. Maybe like that Black Rosetten moment that we heard about. Stuff like that. Maybe that's more of what it's calling back, that idea. And I mean, imagine like the pod races based off of the chariot races from Ben-Hur. But imagine actual like pod races that were like chariot races where they're beating the hell out of each other and stuff. Like it could be really exciting, and there's so many action kind of like big moments you could put into something like that if that's what it is. I mean,
like primitive but futuristic.
Yeah, I mean, the poster is just a callback to the Ben-Hur poster, which is gladiators duking it out, and then eventually like a slave rebellion kind of story in that one.
Or what if it is like the after school special, the Schoolhouse Rock thing?
Oh, it's like, I'm just a Bill sitting on a sand hill.
Yeah.
See what I did there? Sand hill, get it? Sand hill. Sorry.
It could also be the formation of the first Jedi. I mean, it looks like it's an ancient, like a throwback to ancient times. I think it could be something about the first Jedi or the first Sith or something like that.
Yeah.
There were actually rumors along that line, all right, early on, and the formation of the Jedi from the very, very beginning, like before there was a Jedi Order. So
yeah. But I don't think any of that. I don't think any of that ever felt credible to me. I could be wrong. I might not know what I'm talking about.
I think the reason for that was there was that triangular looking thing, or that
the Ben-Hur logo. It was
there was something else.
The abstract piece of art, right?
Yeah.
Very Mortis looking, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where, in my opinion, that's the arena. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just being
whatever
a
they do,
contrarian.
I know.
Whether they do a Rogue Squadron movie, Taika, whatever they just have to find a way to put the audience into the protagonist's viewpoint. Like you're there. What would I do? Like I'm there in the chariot battle. I'm there in the cockpit. I'm there. Versus saying, here's the new hero you gotta buy the toy for, and fucking that's your new fucking Jesus. Like I think like you really gotta find a way to put the audience into the experience.
Yeah.
And they haven't been that successful with that. I never once felt like I was Han Solo making those choices. Closest I can imagine in that movie was when he was in the prison block cell with Chewbacca. Like when you're there with him and you see that, okay, what would I do? But quickly you realize who it is. And then, So I just think that they need to just create those kinds of experiences, and that gets people to come back. I want to go back and ride that thrill ride. You can put a meaningful story in there, but they nail that, and then all these premises and the setups, they'll work their way through, like whatever.
Happy birthday, Marvel Mania. Happy birthday. Oh, sorry, I'm not going to do the whole thing. But happy birthday, Marvel Mania. But yeah, that is kind of a little nice birthday thing to wake up to. This Vanity Fair.
So is the magazine already out?
No, I don't think so. I think if it was out, all the info would have already leaked. Like somebody on Reddit would have bullet pointed it like yesterday, probably. So
it's their
digitally,
June edition. So whenever it should be publishing soon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably next week or so.
Yeah.
Luz says it's my fault that Josh is a grifter. I know. It's my fault that I can't hold him back from making up stuff. Having shitty perspectives. Carlos says, hello there. A lot of news today. I'm so excited. Next week we have the celebration and Kenobi. What a time to be a Star Wars fan. See, I like where Carlo comes at things. You know, Carlo looks at things right. And I think Kennedy actually makes a pretty good point. Even about movie making, but even about being a fan, is that you should just try to have fun. Yeah. Like try to go with things. Don't continually go, whoa, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. I'm gonna have a bad time before. Just be like, hey, you know what? Let's see what they're gonna do. And if they don't like it, then just throw it away. You know what I mean?
There's a really good chance one of these cats gives themselves a heart attack in the next 10 years just with the anxiety over whether they're gonna like a Star Wars movie or not, you know.
Maybe when they look at how many super chats they gave to a grifter who was giving them anxiety, then they have Santa.
Oh man.
Oh, my shoulder. Oh.
I dislocated my shoulder humping your mom. Whoa, Santa, that was too far.
Not just milk and cookies you leave out at night.
No, you know, so you're on the right path. Sometimes it doesn't have to be all that deep, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, if this thing happened in BBY whatever, and then this other thing happens in ABY whatever, oh, doesn't that create a plot hole? It's not that deep. Just let it, kind of go with it, as long as it's not like completely different characters, like completely different character motivations, right?
Yeah.
There are things that you can allow to just let go. One of the examples lately was in the Bad Batch with the color of a lightsaber. Oh, it was green here, but it's blue there. Oh, we got a plot hole. Maybe it's not that deep. Maybe it's just a lightsaber.
Saw Gerrera's eyes, unforgivable. I'm not budging. I'm not budging. I'm not budging on that.
I agree. But as my friend's mom says, just go with the float.
Go with the float. Yeah. No, it is. It is true. Ben says it's time for a next gen Xbox.
No, she says float.
Float.
English isn't.
I know, but I'm saying flow from Alice. It's older joke.
Oh, flow.
My daughter, she's like, Dad, I want you to take me to Del Taco. They have Wiener Schnitzel. They have a new float. I must have it. I heard about it at school. And I was like, okay, I guess, sure. So we drive back right after school. We go over there, and it was literally a strawberry lemonade with ice cream in it. It was so gross. It was, and she was like,
chili dog, don't you think?
She loved it. Kids like it apparently. I took one bite of it. This is gross.
Hey, quick fun Wiener Schnitzel story. We had one in Santee I'd go to across the streets of Wendy's. One day in 1996, I ended up working at this Wendy's. My coworker was this guy who used to work at the Wiener Schnitzel, but he robbed it. And so they gave him a restraining order. He had to stay a minimum amount of feet away. And then he got a job right across the street. So Wendy's has those signs, and I have to put up the sign. He couldn't go out there because it would break the restraining order. He could only walk so far out the store.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a way to get out of work. Fine.
Ever tell you about the time I almost drowned a man? Ever tell you this story?
No.
You're being serious.
I'm being serious. I'm 18 and I'm working at a mobile station, and there was this guy who would come in and he would just get completely wasted. He would we told him, you can't drink here. You cannot drink here. You need to go home. And he would just go out to the front, pound a 40, throw it in the trash, come back in, try to buy another one. And we weren't supposed to sell it to him, But one day, we were doing the thing where you change registers and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so he was able to get 3, and he just pounding. I clearly had a problem. I'm like a kid, I'm like, what is this? I was just really annoyed. but he goes out into the front of the station in the grass. And I'm like, you need to go. My boss calls on the phone. My boss had a camera system at home where he could watch us. That really sucked. Yeah. And he was like, you need to get him off the front. I'm like, tell him, you need to go. I'm gonna call the cops on you. I'm like, so I go and I turn on the sprinklers on him, hoping it would wake him up. But then the customer started asking. I had to ring up all these people. And I forget, I come out there and water was coming out of his eyes. Like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh shit, I had to turn off the sprinklers and turn them on the side.
You waterboarded a guy.
Yeah, I basically waterboarded him. And
that's how I treat the elves, Jason.
Oh my god.
Get back to making Etch-a-Sketch. Ho, ho, ho.
I felt bad, but after that, we just banned him. We had to ban him after that.
After
I almost banned him.
That's funny.
So, Astro says too much Fortnite. It's hard to argue with that. It is true. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to play when I get with Bespin to play today. I'm gonna have to play on a Switch. I don't even know how I'm gonna do that. I don't think I can see it without my old man specs. But yeah. So, anyways, what's going on in chat? And what are you guys saying here? Marvel Mania says it's like they dropped all this news just for my birthday. Wait, we already sang you happy birthday. You can't double dip on the birthday. That's too much birthday. Happy birthday. Anyways, yeah, here we go. All right. Hey, it's Tom Dodds. Tom Dodge. If you need a Dodge, you hit up Tom Dodds. Reva and Vader look badass there. Yeah. Did you see the other picture, Santa, of Reva that came out?
Which one?
Arya,
I've seen about 3 of them.
I don't. Maybe I haven't seen them all for all I know. But Arya sent us this one, and it's like
I've not seen that one before.
It's like Vader and Reva just kind of chilling together. Man, she's actually pretty tall. I don't know if it's her shoes, but she's a lot taller than I expected.
What's kind of interesting there is it looks like they're getting ready to open the second side of that saber, right? So it's dual-sided. So one side's lit, and I'm sure, After Effects, she's going to raise that and light the other side of it.
Yeah. Or she just ran out of batteries.
No.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Crawling Chaos says that I bet Cassian is going to be discovering early Dark Troopers being created. It could be a lot of interesting stuff from Cassian still has to come out. Marvel Mania says, yeah, they definitely worked on this piece a couple months back. Yeah, that's what I think too, Marvel. That's why I think we have those like inconsistencies with things like about Waldron having not even started writing, probably at that point, if he just started now. But at the same time, what does just started mean? It could mean he's in the first act and he's been working on it for 7 months. Who knows? But unless they tell us. Azatru says, so cool to see those group of characters together in the behind the scenes video in the article. Yeah, it is cool. Marvel Mania, bait and switch. This was supposed to be an Andor show, not a Mon Mothma show. Woke. # make Star Wars great again. Yeah. I think I actually thought it was interesting that they kind of say it's about him and Mon Mothma, don't they? They kind of like put a little bit of emphasis on the Mon Mothma a little bit.
They did. They said that she has a parallel storyline.
Yeah.
Like they really did kind of lay out that she is going to be featured in it more than just appear.
I'm kind of curious about her because they didn't in the novels and stuff kind of make her into an idiot. Like after Return of the Jedi, she's like, nope, we don't need anything. And the First Order's like, oh, here we come. Like, isn't she kind of like, didn't they kind of make her responsible for the whole First Order even being able to be a thing?
Yeah, there's a sense in it. You could definitely say that. Like she was very opposed to expanding the like she was just trying to gather in inward looking, not outward looking at all. Like we got to watch our appearances, the appearance of a military, the appearance of this, the appearance of that. So yeah, she was very closed to seeing anything that kind of challenged the authenticity of the New Republic, all of that. So closed-minded.
Yeah. I could have saw that. I could have seen that kind of running into like the Rangers of the New Republic kind of stuff too. Had they obviously they're not developing it anymore, but had they continued that storyline. But I wonder if we may see her showing up now that Andor's kind of broken the seal a little bit and we have a story with her. I wonder if we might see her in a post Return of the Jedi era kind of showing up eventually too. Now, you know, that those stories are supposed to be assimilated, as they said. So, but also now that she's fine as hell, just that part too.
Well,
there's that part too. They're gonna be like, I will go on any mission for you since I was 6 years old. Go on smoking hot. Real Ben Maynard says, "Holy smokes! If I had $1 every time someone from Lucasfilm talked about Star Wars being serialized, well, you know they like cereal. I call them serial killers.
Cereal. Everyone hates that fucking cereal.
Oh
it's
man,
the fucking worst.
Bring back C-3POs, man. You know,
no, don't.
Just bring it back, man. No,
leave that in the Cold War where we left it, right,
wheat.
Santa?
Don't you just like that wheat that takes the wheat in the morning?
Speaking of cereal, you know the Frosted Flakes are supposed to come out in June.
Yeah. Okay, is that when they're supposed to come out? Because I looked for them at the grocery store, and I was like, "That Max is a liar. She photoshopped this Obi-Wan Kenobi Frosted Flakes."
It's in June.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking forward to that cereal box for some reason. I don't know why. I just kind of want it.
It's cool.
Yeah, it looks fun. Baymax says, "Why is Vader injecting himself into my Kenobi show? It's not like it's called Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader. I only want Kenobi taking a dump in a cave for 6 hours."
I do want that. Can we get a camera on him? It's just like one of those found footage films, but it's just him sitting in the cave, walking around, pissing.
What they actually have is they've actually rebuilt that cave at Disneyland, and they have a cast member dressed up as Kenobi, and it's called the Kenobi Cave Cam, and you can watch it on Disney Plus live.
You get to bury all sorts of things in the desert.
He's like digging stuff up. Like, what's Kenobi digging up today? You know.
He's one of those old guys who found a metal detector. He's just digging up shit. Fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Don't stop talking about it. Like,
it's very cachet. It's very cachet.
You said it, Max. Yeah. But and then so Rick Jones says Mangold was on Boba Fett for sure. It could be Breznikin though, just taking old knowledge and running with it. It could be that though. I'm just saying, you guys might be onto something, but or you know, maybe Kathleen Kennedy's a freaking liar, which is possible. No, I mean,
let's consult the 8-ball.
Oh yeah, she's fired. It says she's fired
again.
Yeah,
again.
Yeah, shake it up again. Oh, she's hired. Baymax says, "How did Chris transform from Bradley Cooper into Mangold? It's like, is he an Aussie Zam Wessel?"
Zam Wessel.
Yeah, right. And then he goes on to say, "Filoni and Fav play date. Star Wars Muppet Babies confirmed." Man, you know,
we have the technology now to make them real. We can do it.
I think Baymax probably remembers. I think you were about the same age, and I used to watch Muppet Babies just to see Star Wars footage. There was also one episode of Muppet Babies that was Star Wars themed, and I would also watch it hoping that it would be that episode. I wonder if we could watch it on the stream and not get like taken down.
No, you will. There's a real good chance that that's how Favreau concocted the whole Baby Yoda. He's just watching little baby Kermit sit in front of Star Wars footage as a kid, right? He's like, hey.
Or he was maybe microdosing. It's possible. Tyrant says, "I was microdosing watching Muppet Babies, and that's when I had the idea for Baby Yoda." Tuna water. Tyrant says Lucas PR has been like Baghdad Bob since that first celebration when they were clearly out of their skies. I'm not anti-Kathleen by any stretch, but at some point there has to be some shit to go to plan. I mean, things come out. Things have come out. We've got more Clone Wars, we got more Bad Batch, we got a whole trilogy, we got a couple of standalone films. You know, it's not really as bad as they make it seem. Like today on Star Wars Santa Show, someone was like, "Oh, if she stops firing directors," and I was like, "Well, she didn't really fire Gareth. He was replaced, but that was ultimately a good thing because now we're getting the Cassian Andor series with the same person. The Lego guys got fired. They got fucking fired. They but you know, and that's like true. That did go down that way. Josh Trank, though, that was a wise fire because I mean it would have been, I mean, imagine if you had a guy who was going wild, to say the least, on the Fantastic Four set, and then he came over to Star Wars and went wild. You know what I mean? Like, and he hadn't gone wild before that.
Skit, though.
You know what I mean? I do like Drake, though. I actually think Drake is going to actually deliver something really amazing on an independent level one of these days, and we're going to be like, good job, dude. I really do think he will. I think he's talented. But so anyways, you know, yeah, there has been a slew of bad luck, though. You know, that's there's definitely no doubt about that. But yeah, Doc Martin Vader boots. I almost bought some Doc Martens the other day. Actually, I was like, look at them. I was like, do I want to get some of those? I'm like, you know what? Those are going to hurt my little delicate feet. That was my conclusion. Those are going to hurt my delicate feet. Tyrant says, who remembers when the Spawn movie was touted as for having a huge CG cape budget? That was a thing.
Come a long way. And to be fair, they did a decent job with that cape in that movie, like all things considered. Like not great, but you know what I mean. They did all right. The visual effects on the Violator were fantastic. It's just that's where all the money went.
Yeah,
like those guys banned from the ranch. Was it Mark Dippin and all them? Like they just promised way more than they could do. You know, that's basically it.
Were they?
It's a weird movie.
Were those the guys who smoked weed at Skywalker Ranch and got banned forever?
Yeah.
That's
why they're called banned from the
guys?
ranch.
Yeah.
And then that movie's weird because like it takes place in this version in New York that it looks like The Crow and Blade Runner, and then there's like suburbs, like right outside. Like it's like there's two fucking worlds in that movie. If you ever go back and rewatch it, you're like, what is this world? It almost like if the film should be taking place in a post-apocalyptic future, that then they have to go to the past and stop from happening, but it does. It's so fucking weird.
So it's like when I lived with my dad, but I went to my mom's on the weekend. Got it. The Young Boomer says, for the longest time, some people online have blamed Dave for ruining the Mandalorians and making them pacifist. Hearing that was George's idea is the icing on the constructed narrative cake. Yeah, that was during the Clone Wars in 2008. Chris.
I just didn't really want them in the movies. Everyone said I had to have Dark Jedi and Mandos, and I said, fuck no, you're going to get clones.
Oh, Dark Jedi, Force diversity. Am I right?
Well, that's what someone in the fucking comments was doing, Jason, is they were like, you're forcing diversity by making people of color, all the Imperials, isn't helping either. And I'm like, now do the Clone Troopers. Because Lucas already beat you to that fucking one. Like, he literally made Boba Fett and all the Clone Troopers a person of color. Like, you fucking nitwit. You know, like, just find something new to argue about. You know, you're not even good at it.
Yeah,
Watch
be more
the fucking
creative
films.
with your graph.
Seriously.
Santa would have Daisy eat his burrito. Uh-oh. Is that true?
Nobody touches Santa's Del Taco.
I mean, I've seen the picture. I'm not gonna deny it. No.
It's as if the tip of the burrito was reaching out to also eat you. What?
That clip is honestly like you're alone, you're 16, you got The Abyss on VHS, you decide, you know what, no one's around, I'm just gonna give it an old tug, and then Daisy Ridley comes in your brain. Like that's what that clip really looks like.
To what in The Abyss?
No, you're watching The Abyss and then
tugging to what?
You just start thinking about like Daisy Ridley. I mean,
okay.
Look, my time doesn't make any sense here. Okay, just roll with it. It's
I got you.
Mandela effect.
Yeah, go blame Mandela.
Right. Baymax says, I remember that
Thanks,
episode. The Muppet
Mandela.
Babies would watch Star Wars on their TV. Yeah, there would always be things like in Muppet Babies where they would like open up a door and like a TIE fighter would just be flying in because they would just like use the footage. Like Muppet Babies was one of the first shows that used like free fair use stuff. They're like, we hope they don't come after us, but it was always like really clear that they weren't, because it was Henson and Lucas. You know what I mean? Like they clearly had like a kind of like relationship where that wasn't going to be the case.
Henson was my weed guy, so I couldn't really stop him.
Yeah.
When he died, I had to switch to Heidi, and we saw how that went.
Ben says, I remember hearing about that from George years ago when he was talking about the Mandalorians being pacifist. I don't think that's new info. No, it's not. I mean, it was basically like one of the things that people don't really acknowledge or remember because they probably weren't Star Wars fans at this time, to be honest with you. And that's not a slight, just what way it was. When Clone Wars came out, every single week, the same kind of crybaby stuff happened every episode. Like, Barra Sophie, she used to be a nurse and now she's not. And they would cry. And then the Mandalorians one, I could kind of get the Mandalorians ones a little bit more because like you had this idea, but once again, it was a new idea. And it was more, and honestly, I think it's more interesting to tell a story about the Mandalorians trying to become these pacifists and then it not working out and it all going to hell, because then you start somewhere and you end up somewhere. There's an unraveling to occur that's why I find like the Klingons really boring. Like you meet a Klingon in Star Trek, he's like, dur, 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 and then it never changes from dur, 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 dur the whole time.
Jason never watched Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country.
I did. Is that the one where the guy has the nuts on his knees? That's the one I remember.
You really missed the whole point of that film, Jason, but thank you.
Nuts on the knees was the point of the movie for me.
Yeah. For you, yes, it was. You whipped it out right after The Abyss.
Sorry, I was too busy daydreaming about Daisy Ridley's future arrival. I had vision. The Crawling Chaos says, wasn't it more like some Mandos went past it says while others stayed military, aka old ways? Yeah, there was like the terrorist group, the Death Watch, and ultimately look at how good it was, because like what we're seeing in the Mandalorian with his little cult and stuff, that's the fruits of Death Watch. All of those cats, all the stuff that we're getting is because of these ideas and these different factions and the conflict and friction. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that fans, I think, often overlook, is the fact that you have to put friction in a story. Luke Skywalker just showing up and being perfect, it's a cameo. It's not really a character. It's not really a thing you can do. You can have him just show up and be good. But there has to be some kind of like thing. And so what they did with the Mandalorians was, I think, ultimately a positive thing. We don't have the series without it in the way that we do. I don't know.
I'm all for that Luke going down a different path. The problem is their execution of it wasn't very good. So
agree to disagree. No, Matt Risman says, I like Last Jedi Luke. I think that's, to me, feels very natural. But Matt Risman says, do you think that? Oh man, I fell for it again. I fall for it every time.
I saw that and I was like, I'm not going to tell him. Yeah, actually reads it.
Yeah, no. Cassian Andor says need the conflict. Yeah, and it's like that's like the whole thing with. I guess like with war is, what does war mean without peace, right? You got to like kind of put the peace moments to get to the war moments to get back. It's just a cycle of violence. That's Star Wars. It never ends. It's Star Wars, So without it, you kind of have to like do those kind of things. But they are thinking outside the box too. Like that's what like Lucas would do. That would really throw people. And I gotta say, I think with Kenobi and with the spoiler controversy of the week, I think that's pretty cool that he's actually doing that. Like they did think outside the box, but I think actually in a very fitting way for the most part. That's my take anyway. All right, Mr. How do you think you pronounce his name? Chell? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm bad with names.
Could be Kale.
Kale.
If it's Gaelic, right? Like,
yeah, true. But thank you. Will there be multiple seasons of Kenobi? So what I think is going to happen is Kenobi's going to come out and it's going to have massive numbers. And when it does, I think they're going to get all of those writers together. And I think that it probably under Joe B. Harold. And then they're going to brainstorm what to do, where to go, and what concepts and ideas could be extrapolated upon. I would not be surprised if that was, I think that's probably the plan. And my take would be that won't happen until after the show comes out and is a big deal. The early numbers are looking good for it though. Like the people that are already like pre-subscribed and that kind of stuff is looking good from what I heard. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens, but I still think I still wouldn't be surprised if we're 3 years away from being able to get it. I hope I'm wrong, but I mean, it's not as easy as like the Mandalorian. We're like, well, he ended here. And then now what does he do? Like with Kenobi, there always has to be what's the catch? How do we take him away? And the only thing I could ever think of is that, if I won't go into the spoiler, but if you know, like the big spoiler at the end of Kenobi, where he ends up is in a place where, okay, that's a different rabbit hole now to explore if they want to with the actor from the rabbit hole, right?
What about instead of like a follow-up to Kenobi centric, could there be a spin-off of Luke as he's flying around on the Skyhopper, shooting wampas and hanging out with his buddies?
Kenobi trying to stop him from killing himself every episode. I told you that's the one I want to do. It looks like, and now I'm going to take a T-16 and nearly kill myself. And then Obi-Wan's out there holding it back with the Force and shit. Like, no. Yeah.
I think that also like I think like the logical place to take this though is the character of Roken and those partisans. And like I said, they're good. These aren't maniacs like Two Tubes, and they're not like looking to like get Borgul it and kill pilots for just not doing what they want the second they meet him and just weird stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I think that there's a good story to like tell there about how those people who are doing this very noble thing and are connected to all of this stuff sort of become maniacs. And once again, the friction from the people who say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to hit civilian targets and blow up children because it makes strategic sense and stuff like that. Like I was talking about, Castro was the code name for Saw Gerrera. And that's like somebody who, when you very, very first look at the early life, you're like, oh, I understand where he's coming from. But then you look at where he went and what he did, and you're like, oh, you're kind of a piece of shit. And so I think that's essentially the story. And that's what I hope that they take that somewhere, because you could also see like Saw Gerrera and Roken like having like good friction. Once again, the word of the day. Arya says, "Who is excited about the Leia show coming next week?" Oh, Arya, you're a little pest. You're trying to kick up some dirt. I know what you're doing, but I honestly think that she's right. I honestly think that what we just got with these guys that are purposely, willfully ignorant about the way that production works and stories work, I think that that's going to be where it goes, because at the end of the day, if you're mad about this one thing with Luke, why wouldn't you be mad about Leia and knowing Obi-Wan? That's just the start of it, right? In my opinion, that's how this is going to go. That's where, and I hope she's fantastic. I've heard she's fantastic, but I hope she's fantastic.
And I stand by. You can't be against this and for Ahsoka and claim it breaks canon, because nothing breaks canon more than Anakin having a Padawan like that. No one ever fucking mentioned in between two films. Like, just doesn't happen. And female centric, took over the whole Clone Wars, kind of the most important, still going. It's just this idea came and went. George already did it, You'll like it just fine. Move on.
Bad news. Chris is frozen in carbonite.
Oh
no.
no.
He's frozen. He's trying to unfreeze. If you get back, Chris, cool.
Isn't the biggest complaint I've heard is Luke seeing or having his life at the edge of a saber, and then his reaction to seeing the saber in A New Hope, not recalling the trauma of his childhood.
That's what that scene needed. More childhood trauma,
But
because that's just ignoring. But this is the same thing as when you say, my father. Hey, what about my mother? Hey, whatever happened? Where'd I come from? Miami was like there's all sorts of shit you could bring up in that scene that wasn't brought up. Or when he says, when Obi-Wan sits down to see a hologram of his sister, and he goes, "She's beautiful." He should go, "Hold on there, buddy. You don't know where she's been."
Well, I do too. Like, I don't know really how to phrase this right. I feel like to some extent we have a little bit of a Bruce Wayne Batman kid problem here, where I saw my parents shot. Now I'm a Batman. Like it's bad shit happens to people all the time. Bad shit happens to characters and stories all the time. It doesn't necessarily define them. A lady coming at you with the red light sword one time doesn't mean like that's all you're going to talk about. It doesn't mean that it defines your character. It doesn't mean when you see a lightsaber, like, oh no, whoa, what is that, Kenobi? Turn it off! It's gonna get me! It's ridiculous. If you think about it, it's really
might
stupid.
Play stupid. The scene itself might play stupid. My whole point,
it might,
isn't justifying that it happens. It's saying that a million fucking things could have been relevant in that scene that Lucas already contradicted himself within the OT. And it's just nothing new. Luke, Obi-Wan has to specifically address this problem in Return of the Jedi with the whole from a certain point of view. And
he never does deal with Leia being his sister all of a sudden. That whole thing, he changed some fundamental aspects of the setup from A New Hope by the time he got done. And to go back to 10 years before or whatever, and Luke sees the red lightsaber, and then in New Hope he lights up his dad's lightsaber, which, by the way, how did that anyway, the whole thing,
your father wanted you to have this when I cut off his knees and left him burning alive.
Exactly. and Luke asked him, "Do you remember your mom?" Right? And then you go back to the prequels and change that whole thing. So
and Leia's like, "Yeah, I remember her," and then she dies. She's like 1 day old
before they ever meet.
She was lying.
It's a whole thing's a mess. So that's what I mean about.
No,
maybe it's not that.
You don't remember her? Oh, I remember her. We were close. She didn't like you as much as she liked me.
Maybe it's not that deep. Just enjoy it. Let it be what it is. And Star Wars has always been this. And Rob's every time he brings it up, I'm like, yes. It's just like you go back
Santa was like 30 when Return of the Jedi came. He's like, this is stupid.
No, I was the perfect age,
full-grown
right?
man.
I was 10 when A New Hope came out. But at the same time, when you go back and you look at it with that kind of critical eye, like they have now, right? Everybody's looking at canon and parsing every last bit of it, and then trying to make this part conflict with that part, and now it's a plot hole and it's ruined my Star Wars. Sometimes you just need to let it go.
I mean,
take the story.
Where was canon when Luke Skywalker walks into Jabba's palace, and Jabba goes, "Hey, your dad was a hell of a pod racer once," like that other little Skywalker.
Or when he goes, "Your father saved my son, therefore I'm going to save his son. You may go." That happened in the Clone Wars live action or animated
for
movie.
real.
It did, yeah. He saved little Hut baby.
Rhoda, Stinky baby, Rhoda.
Stinky baby. Well, it was a Padawan, yeah. Ahsoka saved, right? Stinky.
Stinky.
Didn't Obi-Wan have a kid named Corky? I mean, are we really talking about fucking...
Or did he? Right? I mean, that's the debate.
That is a racist term, Santa. Don't be using that.
What?
Call people guineas.
I don't know.
The Irish don't appreciate that term, Santa.
Oh. The young boomer says, changes in narratives ain't new. Remember how Darth Vader and Luke's unnamed father were totally two different people, but Reva approaching Luke and canon as Breaker? Laughing my ass off. No.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I completely do understand where people are like, whoa, is that okay? Am I okay with that? Like, that's, I understand. Sure. I completely get that. But you also have to go, well, you know what? Actually, it truly doesn't break any rules. I just might not prefer it. But but then you grow up and you go, you know what? I'm going to see how it plays out. If I don't like it, then I just don't like it. But you don't.
Obi-Wan also says that Owen didn't want Anakin to leave and join Obi-Wan on some damn fool idealistic crusade. When that fucking scene happened, because I was in the theater going, oh, guess we're brothers, and I'm like, that's it? This is all we got? Like, this is it? Like, I thought when Anakin left, he would have left and sadly taken his wife to that shithole of a fucking planet. You know what I mean? And like, and then you come to the beginning. He should have quit the Order, joined Padme, hunkered down with Owen and shit, and then Obi-Wan has to go get him because to root out the fucking Sith that's hiding out in the center of the fucking Galactic Republic, and that would have been the scene to have. You know what I mean? And it's so fucking ridiculous.
If not there, then in the Clone Wars, when Ahsoka leaves, why doesn't he go too? He's got every motive in the world. Like the Order has failed him so many times by this point, and it's made him miserable. Why wouldn't you say, yeah, screw them. I'm with you. Let's go. Yeah, you go next.
Well, because he's having 2 babies on the way and he needs their insurance. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Yeah.
Checks out, Jason. I've been there.
I want to say it. Baymax wants a Santa and Rob road trip movie.
We need to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, Ben Maynard says, even if the scene does not break any rules, are you not allowed to criticize it? No, I believe you are. I believe you're allowed to. But what you're not allowed to do is to say it broke canon.
Right.
Because it literally does not break canon. It breaks
way past that.
It breaks the old conceptualization of canon, which is all that it actually is. It's not like there's like like Star Wars doctrine is written down firmly and it says them's the rules. It doesn't.
I think we've been very clear on this, Ben. You've been hanging around a few streams. We've been extremely clear that we're all for criticizing. Believe me, I'll be there that night criticizing some way or the other. But it's this it broke canon shit, and somehow Disney and Kathleen Kennedy are ruining Star Wars. I'm like, fucking Lucas ruined Star Wars in '83 when he literally gave Princess Leia not a fucking thing to do and made Ewoks the center of that fucking story.
Excuse me, he put her in a fine-ass bikini and made up for it, became my hero.
Should have been up there leading the fuck. And then he created Mon Mothma. That should have been Leia right there. Like, what is this shit?
No, because then we wouldn't have fine-ass Mon Mothma now.
And that is why I rented Clue every week instead of Return of the Jedi. That's why. All right?
Okay. So it says, Jason, you mentioned before how people at Lucasfilm raved about Kenobi having the best script ever. What are you hearing about people who have seen the show? Has it translated? You know, that was like back in the day when it was like a film. And so I don't know like what's different or whatever necessarily. You know what I mean? Like I know a couple of things here and there over the years that I've collected in my brain. But for the most part, I don't really know at the end of the day, like what did Joe B. Harold actually do with this other than what I reported. And but it would be cool if they one day tell us. I doubt they will, but maybe.
You think that script will ever leak?
No, I don't know about that. But I mean, what I would more hope for is that they do like an art of Star Wars Kenobi. And maybe in there, they start to tell us about like the process over the years and the concept art that was done in like 2017. And stuff like that, and like some of that stuff would start to give us a couple of ideas. You know what I mean?
If only they had a magazine they could publish this stuff in and get us all to fucking want to subscribe. I don't know. Yeah. Lucasfilm. If only they had the resources for such a fucking platform in which we could read shit. Dumbass magazine.
The magazine does its best. I don't think it's their fault. Arya, I kid you not, everyone is happy about all of the episodes that were leaked, but they are only mad about one small Reva Luke scene and the fact that she is the reason he is alive. And once again, that point of she is the only reason he is alive.
The only reason.
That is such a cherry-picked argument to make. Like I said yesterday, the Tusken Raiders were going to eat Luke's flesh. They were going to eat him. They were going to devour him. And the Kenobi goes, blah, 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 makes that weird noise depending on which version you watch. And then it scares them away. And then he doesn't get eaten. So there we go. Now Obi-Wan Kenobi is the only reason Luke Skywalker's alive. Thank you.
Well,
Deborah
Jason, actually, the reason why they wanted to eat him is he actually tastes like steakums. I don't know if you're familiar with the wonderful product of steakums, but Luke Skywalker, it's known Skywalkers taste like steakums.
Oh,
really
survey for Max and survey for Rob, because Santa was there. When Yoda eats Luke's food, what is he eating and what does it taste like?
Mud. It looks like he's eating mud.
You little weirdo.
Now, this came up on my live stream. I still think it's a Baby Ruth, like in Caddyshack.
Like
okay.
Oh, Caddyshack.
Is he holding something like that? Looks like
to me. What do you think?
Slim Jim, right?
So you think it's a Slim Jim? So you're going Slim Jim because because Baymax thought it was a Slim Jim. Basically, thought it was like a piece of sausage. And whenever I see it, I see like a
finger?
granola. I see like a skinny granola bar kind of thing. That's what I always thought it was. Like a real high fiber fucking thing that would make you poop inside your.
You're probably right. I think it's probably more of a, because Yoda has sharp teeth, right? So he only eats meat, right?
He's a vegetarian. He just chews on.
No, he's not. He has sharp fucking teeth. No sharp teeth.
But he's a vegetarian. But he's a vegetarian.
He is not a vegetarian. That's
yes, he is. He made soup.
Yeah, beef soup, frog soup.
Have you ever
not been to France? Like,
no.
Yeah, it was like one of those thick pretzel sticks, or like that has like
he would hate that.
Covered with sesame seeds and shit.
There's no such thing as a sharp-teethed carnivore, bro, or a vegetarian.
I'm not saying
herbivore. Sorry,
I'm not saying he wasn't born to be a carnivore. I'm saying Yoda's a vegetarian.
Well, he's eating shit through a straw then, because how the fuck is he gonna chew up and grind up grains and grass?
That's why he chews on it. That's why he chews on his
like life cannon and shit. Like
that's why he has his gimmer. He chews on his gimmer.
James
stick.
Cameron would not approve of this.
I don't know if it's out there, but one time I actually saw a piece of footage when I was with somebody. I was with somebody, and it was Yoda. I don't know if this is out, but there was a scene with Yoda from Return of the Jedi, and he like chews on his stick. He like has this cane. He like chews on it. And like has him kind of just like gnawing on it. Yeah. It's like he uses it to like for his teeth or something. It was really weird. But they filmed it for Return of the Jedi.
Doesn't Grogu break canon though? Because he just eats stuff whole, man. Like he'll take a whole frog and just down that thing, or those eggs that are like half the size of his body and just like down them straight down. Why would Yoda all of a sudden be taking a small little meat stick and hacking it in half?
Don't let Florida know about Grogu's stance on abortion, because they'll ban baby Grogu because he was all about it. He doesn't care. He's like, how many weeks is this?
Chlorians when you're done with the fetus, you know.
Yeah, but Yoda ate Kermit. Says pretty much. Hey, how's it going, Mark? Thanks for hanging out with us. Reva is the bridge between Obi and Vader. Obi has been disconnected from the Force for a long time, and Vader needs someone to bring him to his attention. Exactly. I mean, Reva has functionally, regardless of her character, whatever they put on her, whatever she happens to be, or whatever, was always going to be sort of like the magnet to getting Obi-Wan to Vader, and on top of that, getting to not make Vader into like a big loser. Because
it'd be a real stupid
It would be it would be 2 seconds long if Darth Vader just said, "I found you," and then they got right to it. You need somebody who is not as adept as Darth Vader to go, and then when they bring in the big boy, the bad guns, that's when Darth Vader comes in because she can't do it. So it's kind of funny that in a weird way, the checkboxers are giving the checkboxers exactly what they need, but they don't appreciate her for being the hill that she is, or whatever you call it in wrestling. Does that make sense?
You know, like, yeah, it does make sense because I mean, like, okay, Lucas and them create the Inquisitors, so Vader isn't personally running around hunting down every Jedi. They have to do all that shit for him, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay. So then you have these Inquisitors who are hunting down Jedi. They end up on a planet. They also discover there's another Jedi there. Now you're telling me these cats wouldn't be like, what? They don't ever ask why he would be on the planet. You know, like, why would he be on the planet? Why would Obi-Wan be on Tatooine? Why there? Like, that's a logical fucking question. Any private dick fucking investigator, because they're not like just like executioners. They're like Hans Landa in Inglourious Bastards, right? Like, he's tracking down, interviewing people and shit, figuring out. Like, they're not just like. They're not Dog the Bounty Hunter. Vader would have just hunt bounty hunters, you know? Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's so weird that if they don't do that, then they'll say the character's stupid, you know? And then when they do it, they're like, the character's, you can't win with these fuckers.
Well, like I said,
Jason's
like,
fault forever talking about it.
It's my fault. It's my fault because they can't take spoilers. Yeah, if you know. I go hard, as they say, but I do. That I do. Baymax says Yoda whacking off R2 with his pole was the best duel in Empire Strikes Back.
It really is. It's really good.
Neil says good stick does the body. that almost
we need that shirt, Jason.
do you remember that rap song, like one of the first rap songs, and it was like Frankenstein? It was like shock the body, shock the body. Remember that?
No.
Yeah, I think
What
I think
year?
Ice Cube's dad, Ice Cube, I think, or somebody like that produced it. So I think it was like before NWA. It was like 84, I want to say.
Yeah.
And it was like a Frankenstein kind of like rap with like Igor would come in, had a couple bars, I think, if I remember right.
I thought Fat Fried Freddy was the first rapper rap.
If you ask this
like
guy,
in the 70s.
it was shock the body.
Late 70s.
Shock the body. But I'm gonna find it. We're gonna listen to it on the show one day. It's official.
Just kidding.
Arya says Black Chrysanthemum also attacked Kenobi in the comics. What if a Wookiee nobody has ever seen was the reason Kenobi died? Laugh out loud. Yeah. Whoa. My chat just kind of weighed down on me. The Crawling Chaos says, I've never understood the cutting yourself off from the Force. You just said the Force binds everything together, living beings as well, being dead like rocks. You know, that's I was never actually super into that idea with Luke, but I was like, okay, fine. I'm just gonna pretend he's sort of imagining a barrier between himself and the rest of the world and shielding himself. That's the way I kind of like conceptualized it.
Well, they're kind of doubling down on that in the Brotherhood novel that came out last week.
Yeah. What's it say?
There's a young girl in there who is a little anxious. She has a bit of anxiety anytime things happen. And one thing she does, she creates a vacuum in the Force. So she cannot be detected either on the light or dark. So in essence, and then Anakin talks to her about her cutting herself off from the Force. Don't do that. And he understands it and all of that. So they're kind of building that out more, and it's they have to sort of, as you were saying, sort of build a bubble where they can neither be detected, living Force, cosmic Force, or anything in between. They're just completely missing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would have to think that like he points out,
Force hole.
The Force binds everything together. But also like connecting to it is something that if they do to then use it. And so I could kind of see how both things are still kind of true. it's a little complicated, hard to understand, but how they can both be true. But when it comes to like Kenobi,
well, think of it like a invisibility cloak.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
They're there, but they're being obscured.
Yeah. It's like a shielding kind of thing. When it comes to like Kenobi, I'm not completely positive that he cuts himself off as much as he just stops tuning in.
Jason, the only person he could hang out with that could shield him from the presence of anybody was Owen's such a fucking asshole, right? That you only sense Owen's gaping fucking asshole.
Oh no, gross!
Got a big gaping force.
No.
Just they can't sense him. You just got to be. Yoda had to hang next to a dark side cave, and Kenobi has to hang next to Owen because he's such a force hole.
It's a stepbrother force hole. Joel Williamson says Jason and Rob should both be Batman based on their childhoods, right? Yeah, right. I think pretty much probably everybody here on this thing should be either a Batman or a supervillain based off of our childhoods.
My wife firmly believes that I should have been a supervillain. Like, it's really fucked up. Like, anytime we watch, like when we watched Lost and Benjamin Linus goes up, she goes, "Oh, that's you." Anytime there's like some villain dude who's figuring shit out, she's like, "That's you." I'm like, "You married me. Like, I'm the villain, but why were you attracted? What are you, Harley Quinn or some shit? Like what are you?" It's an abusive relationship, man. All right.
Baymax says if it was a Nari looking Inquisitor in the Reva role, it wouldn't be a thing. There's no need to beat around the bush. Call a dog whistling motherfucker a dog whistling motherfucker. Sorry, Nari.
I do love that one.
Agree.
It's the boots. The boots get it for me.
But you know what, Santa? Why don't you get out of here, man? Why don't you take your Christmas and get out of here?
I'm gone.
Thanks for coming and hanging out with us for a bit, dude.
Thanks to Biden, it was Christmas nice seeing you earlier canceled today. Again.
See you guys.
Bye. Yeah, but anyways, it's true. I mean, it is what it is, and I was really disappointed to see those guys talking about me last night, like as if like I somehow gave a chimp a gun and it shot somebody, so now I'm responsible. It's like, no, you actually came up with the narrative. I mean, we can juxtapose these things if he wants to keep going down that route.
I predicted assholes like him would conjure up that narrative because it's such an easy, stupid fucking thing for them to do.
Yeah.
So unless I'm like, yeah, some assholes will conjure up this fucking idea, and then he went and did it and was like, "Oh no, someone put it in my head because I'm an asshole." Like, all right, you just
no one was propagating the narrative with any platform or power until Josh did it. So it is what it is. Tyrant says, "Can these idiots pick up their mind? They want new stories, but don't want old characters interacting with each other because it breaks canon, but don't like new characters because reasons." Good point, Tyrant. You don't want new characters. You don't want old characters. Maybe you just don't fucking want Star Wars, and that's okay.
Yeah,
just get the fuck out. If that's how you,
they promised, that's where you're at. And I stand by. I say again, they promised they were leaving after The Last Jedi. Like they said they were quitting. Why are they still here? That
guy said he was leaving twice this week, and then goes, "I'm back in after the Vanity Fair article."
They can't help themselves. They're never leaving. That's the real shame of it. Is I'm willing to get into arguments with all you over real Star Wars like discussions. You know what I mean? Like I'm all for it. This other shit, I want these fuckers to fucking leave. Like just go. They all want to complain about fucking. They're going to complain about Marvel. The second there's an A-Force movie or anything with the fucking female in it. This Thor thing, they're going to hate 90% of it because of the females,
Are they going to make any more Captain Marvel movies? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's called The Marvels. Yeah.
The Marvels?
It's going to feature Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, and the other one.
Is the hot one coming back? The hot one?
They're all hot, other than the kid.
Okay.
But yeah, Brie Larson.
Brie Larson
from WandaVision, her friend Rambo. Okay. Yeah, they're all coming back.
Wait, Rambo's coming?
I know.
Come on, it's too hard to not say it. I mean, what are you doing, guys?
It's also too easy, Jason.
It's just, but it's but I can't help myself.
I know. Like with me and Dole Whip.
Shogun says, well, everybody doesn't have the same level of connection with the Force. To me, when they cut themselves off, it's like saying they're going to dumb themselves down to a normal person's level. Maybe. I mean, I think, yeah, essentially they stop reaching out and stuff. You know what I mean? Neil says, don't mention Dog the Bounty Hunter in Star Wars in the same sentence. They'll give Kathleen Kennedy too many more crazy ideas. Arya says,
fun.
why are we out of nowhere getting a ton of Marvel writers, etc.? I don't mind it, but are we trying to make a new Star Wars era after Episode 9? Well, what it comes down to, in reality, is that it's all the same company. I mean, they're different departments when you get down to it, but they're all the same company. And when one writer is in good standing and delivered a quality product that made them happy, and they want to jump over, they're going to be up for those jobs, whether it's writing Bambi 4 or Star Wars, I think, at the end of the day.
And Feige is producing that film, so he's using his crew for that film. So that's why.
Sam says, I remember that instance where Nerd Theory switched from quoting your article about glimpses into Reva's life and spun it into a narrative about Reva being the main character. Yeah. And then now he says, I wish he hadn't put that spoiler out. It's like what everything that you were fucking crying about was shit you fucking made up, dude. Like, I don't know why you're trying to put that shit on me to 3,000 people. And I don't know if Theory actually knows anything or not, but Theory's like, oh, there was already hype. I'm not a fucking hype man. I want to talk about what's going on. I generate the truth is what I try to pull out of the stuff so we can talk about it. I'm not trying to generate hype.
By the way, like for me, consistently since before The Force Awakens, like you've been very consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if hype is generated, fantastic. But also I'm about setting realistic expectations, and it helps me a lot, Real Ben Maynard says, I'm just over people complaining about the final scene because literally Luke knows about the Clone Wars based on his conversation in A New Hope with lightsabers are synonymous with the Clone Wars. Yeah. And I completely agree with you 100%. If you're going to take everything, like that's one of the things we have to do if you're going to continue to consume Star Wars content in modern times. You have to look at the totality of everything, because if you just look at what A New Hope means, then you're not looking at what the Clone Wars mean too. You're just not, and that's what they've done. And I think it was ultimately the right thing to do. I feel like the ending was the right ending for that story. I still don't know if it was the right ending for Star Wars. I don't know how I'll feel about it after I see it when all is said and done. I'm not trying to play both sides or sit on the fence here. When I literally put it all together, when I literally that day, I remember when they filmed that, I was just like, wow. I kind of I kind of cut myself off from the Force on it. I didn't think about it too much. I just said, okay, made my notes. And when I put it all together and got to the end, I'm like, this feels like the right ending. So it does feel like the way that it needs to go. Like the minute they save Leia, the other kids now about you know what I mean? And it ups the stakes in the final act at the right moment, I think anyways. So I think old Joby, I think he's on to something. I think I believe in him. Sam goes on to say, the only time canon changes bother me is when it impacts the story of the previous movie shows, like how Palpatine in the original movies was a clone, not if Luke sees a lightsaber or whatever. Yeah, that's fair. When you have to reconceptualize something and then you don't like it as much, like I don't actually have to reconceptualize anything other than Luke with his T-16, and I love it. I love that. I actually love that idea. I think it's a hilarious moment how Kenobi gets it. It's a sweet concept. I mean that like in the heartfelt way that he wants these. I'm going to give it to the boy. He wants the kid to have a toy, and then Owen's a jaded asshole and says no. And then at the end he gives it to him because Kenobi ain't so bad. You know what I mean? Like I think it's that stuff. I love that stuff. I think that's really, really solid writing. And now whenever I watch A New Hope and he picks up a dumb toy that was just a moment of exposition to get character from point A to point B, now I'm a little bit like, it's a little bit richer for me. in that. But once again, when I watch A New Hope, I go, he saw a lightsaber now, ruined. It just doesn't. It doesn't actually. But I'm curious if people who now have the same information I have watch A New Hope and let me know how it felt when you did.
Han never shot first. Han shot first. Han never shot first. You talk breaking canon, man. Like,
yeah.
Just, literally Lucas went in when fucking Premiere and just like move frames around in the most unhuman way possible in the film. If that doesn't break just watching the fucking film, I don't know what does. Like
Horror Nation. That's with an H, not a W. Would be a fan of both. Says, do you think Vader's lightsaber skills will be similar to Revenge of the Sith in the Kenobi series? This is something that I have tried to figure out since they were filming. And I have heard things that make me think both. So I have to think both. That's kind of my answer. Both.
Didn't he do an interview where they talked about it and he said it was going to be a little bit more closer to...
Hayden is doing a flashback sequence where he plays Anakin. And that stuff is going to be more like Revenge of the Sith. But when Darth Vader's in the suit fighting, sword fighting, it's mostly not Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader's suit. It's this other actor. I have an article on Making Star Wars about the 3 people that are bringing Darth Vader to life. There's one guy who's the sword guy in the suit. There's one guy who's the just standing there guy in the suit. And then there's Hayden, who's the when you could see my helmet's broken guy in the suit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he might do a shot or here and there, probably just to do it. But for the most part,
it wasn't James Earl Jones in the fucking suit in the first 3.
Same how it wasn't David Prowse. It was Bob Anderson.
Or David Prowse.
Bob Anderson is honestly, if everyone was alive or we're all in some heaven now, afterlife, and they are, hey, you want to go have dinner with Darth Vader? Which one? And I'd be like, I'd pick Bob Anderson. Bob Anderson's the one with the stories that I actually would want to hear, would want to talk to, ironically. And that's not just because David Prowse blocked me on Twitter, which is still fucking hilarious to me. But I will say,
there's subtitle. You can change it.
Blocked by David Prowse on
Twitter. Yeah. Yeah.
How people put Trump. How people are proud to be like blocked by Trump, and then they do that.
Right, blocked by David Prowse. Yeah, and then praised by Mark Hamill. Like, this is the best.
Yeah, but I will say when you do get blocked by Darth Vader, you do start to reevaluate your life. I will just say that does happen. Darth Grogu says, do you think Mando season 3 starts on Mandalore right away? I honestly, I don't know, but I don't think so. In my opinion, probably not. So, and then I wonder if Mando season 3 will have a recap of what happened in Book of Boba Fett for those who didn't see it. Yeah, I bet you the opening they'll just treat it as if it's one series. That's my vibe anyways. Neil says, you said assholes, and I instantly knew you were talking about Josh and Wild Theories. And once again, I don't know what Star Wars Theory knows, for the record. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how much a lot of people are like, oh, he doesn't know anything. I kind of at times happen to go like, really though? Like, I kind of remember some stuff like where he pretended like he didn't know spoilers and his theories lined up really well, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Real Ben Maynard says, Dog, the bounty hunter, should have rescued Boba from the Sarlacc. That would have been way better. Come on, bro, let's get out of here. There's ice down there.
Every time one of those assholes shows up to hunt someone down, and they don't. You know what I mean? They always just get like turned themselves in at a Wendy's.
Jimmy says, I legit don't think Theory knows what's going on. And maybe he doesn't. But,
I don't even know the difference. I don't know the show. So like when they say Theory and I don't even know, Josh is Den of Nerds. Den of Nerds is the one that will say and apparently do anything to get outrage to make spoiler cash. And then Theory is a guy who just goes like, I don't know. I hope Hayden's back. I hope Reva's not in it, and it's just Hayden and you and McGregor together the whole time. Fascinating conversation to listen to every day.
But
I heard one.
People like it though. People like it. People like it. So
I hear you. Everyone has their different tastes. It's just for me, I just heard them talking. All I can hear is this monotone NPR like voice. I'm like, I can't listen to this. I'm turning it off.
Yeah.
You know, I'll fall asleep.
I mean, they got like 3,000 viewers. We got 62 because I shout at the camera and pretend to be Batman turning into Batboy or something.
Oh,
so
no, they're obviously way more popular. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I can't listen to it. Like, we make it for me.
The young boomer says Star Wars Theory needs to separate from the other guy. I watched their stream last night, and Star Wars Theory was trying to steer the convo away from spoilers and leaks, but to no avail. I know. Well, and then the fucking dude starts blaming me. Like, oh, I just wish he hadn't done that. I just wish he hadn't really. It's like, you didn't have to go and make a video about it, Josh. You didn't have to go and extrapolate on stuff. You didn't have to go and make up a bunch of shit about where the emphasis lies. You changed the emphasis. That's all on you, Josh. But, you know, but to 3,000 people, you made yourself look like you're a little sorry saint. And we both know you're full of shit.
When you showed me that, I, for some reason in my head, I got that clip of Alex Jones stuck on my head where he was talking about how he's a combat model. Where he goes, combat model, self-sufficient, probably the leader. And I'm like, and then cut to Alex Jones going, support me, send me money. They're coming after me. I thought you're self-sufficient. All right. If they're self-sufficient, these fucking dudes, they don't need to ever talk about anything you report, right? They can just carry the conversation, right? These fucking channels, like, no offense, like, they make money, but they make all their fucking, they make all their fucking views and money off of the shit you and Bespin Bulletin and real fucking cats fucking promote. They just, whatever, their hate mongers get them, the algorithm rewards hate. That's the problem. Their videos get shared. You know,
what sucks is that he's made a lot of money off of the information that I've put out. He made 2 videos on it, made a fuck ton of super chat cash, got lots of people into their chat, and then threw me under the bus as if it was my fault that I released it, as if there was a line and he could not control himself. He had to go
buy you another fucking Xbox to replace your fucking Xbox.
Seems fair. But
it's fair.
But you know, but that's how this fandom is. They take and then they point fingers. Sith Lord says, I think Obi-Wan will wipe Luke's mind of anything that happens in the show. This way the movies are not retconned. I haven't heard that happens. That's one thing that they could have done, you know, but that's not what I've heard. I've heard that he is pacified by the T-16. That was the word I wanted to use, but I was afraid that it would then get taken out of context too. Real Ben Maynard says the T-16 thing was one of my favorite little parts of the leaks. Just a good touch to the series. I thought so too. I really did. Sam says my new headcanon, soon to be broken, is that Luke is Luke Lars. That's what I say too, man. But when he learns about his father from Obi-Wan, he adopts the Skywalker name later on when saving Leia. I always like the idea that they sat him down and they said, look, you are Luke Skywalker. But your father was a navigator on a spice freighter. There's people that would kill you if they knew who you were because he was involved with this organized crime. And so you're going to say that your name is Luke Lars when you go to a little kid's school out here. Okay. Actually, you know what? We're just going to homeschool you and make you real weird. And then that was the convo. But
he's like, you want to wear a choker? You know, you want to work in Jabba's palace? You shut the fuck up, Luke.
Yeah.
Keep your fucking trap shut.
By the way, I watched Old last night. The movie where they go to that beach and they all start turning old. And I was really enjoying it's a M Night movie. And I was really enjoying the movie for what it was, as like a Twilight Zone episode kind of thing. But there's this part that just completely ruins the movie. This lady, she walks up and she goes, I was about your age. I was in love with a man named Gillipsy. And it just it makes no sense. It was like the dumbest name ever. I was like, M. Night, like, what the fuck, dude? I think it was Gillipsy. It was really
he needs to team up with that guy from The Room.
I'm 42. I'm 42. My son is 8. We were both watching it without looking at each other. We both broke out into just fucking laughter. And at the same time, and that's when I knew it wasn't just, it was completely it was like a movie breaking moment, you know. I did enjoy the movie for what it was.
Like two minions, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It was pretty hilarious. But yeah, Eric, I gotta say, I don't think they're bringing Eric. I don't think they're doing James Earl Jones. I would love. I'm not saying that's the way it is. I'm making a prediction, and my prediction is it would have been in that Vanity Fair article where they like literally, you could tell wanted to know. They wanted it. They didn't get it. Unless they're maybe saving it as another feature for Vanity Fair down the road or for another outlet, and it was held back. That's always a possibility. But as we talked about in the past, I think it would be great if it was James Earl Jones, but the guy who they got from Vader Immortal is pretty good, and also that guy voices Vader in Fallen Order, and there's a lot of Fallen Order connections to this. So once again, it kind of is in universe in a weird way. Fallen Order Darth Vader. But wouldn't mind seeing an agile Vader somehow. I would say he's a bit more agile in this. I would say that. I would agree with that, but I don't think it's going to be. I know he does a flip. I talked about that, haven't I? I think I talked about that.
No.
They had him on like the wire thing, so that way Vader could do like a fucking flip at one point. So he does like a fucking like a flip. So yeah, that's provided they actually used it. But I think it's I
the cave for that one.
Oh, there you go again. But everything I talked about in that time and that stuff was proved with that leak where we did see them doing the Force push stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and that was in the same footage as that I saw that. So Stormtroopers on the Death Star. Seen that new T-16? Yeah, I hear it's great. It wasn't a T-16. It was a different ship. But Chris is still frozen in time. Chris
got Max's internet. Max's is working. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the internet yesterday though, because Michael is working and using the internet.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said when I cleared out my
caches,
it started working.
I know, but I like to make fun of the internet, Max. Play along.
Okay. Yeah, it's my internet.
Baymax says the Ahsoka show plot is her using the WBW to go back in time, the World Between Worlds, to go back in time to grab Reva before Vader kills her, then Scarab to grab Jyn, then forward to Holdo and Rey, forces female A-Team assemble, Rogue Wars.
Well, they could just light speed skip to do all that, can't they? Like force time skip, right? Force speed skipping, like yeah. The JJ keep adding weird shit to Star Wars that don't go nowhere or ever get used again.
Yeah,
like, force backs and skip it and whatever.
He just mumbles a lot. Well, there's the guy who burned me up. Let's get him. All right, everyone. I think we're gonna call this a show for now, and because we need to have lunch. I've been doing this since 9 a.m. It's 1 o'clock.
I mean breakfast.
So, breakfast, lunch. Me and you do the intermittent fasting thing. So I don't know what counts as. Do I even have breakfast? I don't think so, personally. But we'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and just in case you need it for whatever reason, here you go.
You will know it is time to turn the page when you hear R2-D2 beep like this.
It's the end of the show. Come
on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go. It's not about spaceships. Hey!
What are you still doing here? Go home.